let's lower that. Let's lower that music just a tiny bit. Hey, what's up, everybody? Francisco here, along with Charles. Andrew is gonna be out for a bit. He's got some things to do.
It's a debilitating legal injury.
Yeah.
Since everybody wants to tear ACLs in the goddamn NBA playoffs, we're going to give him a designated injury. He's on the IR or
Yep.
the IL.
Yep. So Andrew's out, but it's me and Charles once again, and we'll talk about our things. We'll go nerdy if we have to. That's fine. We got other things. We got other interests. All right. We don't just talk about sports. We talk about video games and movies and anime and
Yeah, see,
and
like the best way
cartoons
to
and
describe it to anybody who's listening to us on the podcast stuff instead of live is it's basically we're like Wu-Tang,
Mm.
but we're not the clan fully together. We're just featuring on each other's other albums. So if you listen to the Wu, because Wu-Tang ain't nothing to F with, it's basically like one of us is ODB and then Method Man is just on there, or Raekwon the God.
What?
There's a lot of stuff that can come into it.
yeah. It is
The
Wednesday. It
Riz
is
is always
Wednesday.
going to be playing it, and it's Wednesday.
Yes.
Wu-Tang Wednesday, baby.
Yes. So welcome, Freddie. Yeah, I don't know. Work has been kind of destroying me on every Tuesday lately. So we've been moving to Wednesday. It allows Charles to take a nap and also recover from his daily work grind as well on a
Yeah,
Tuesday.
it helps out. I will say this though, you guys should feel honored sometimes because your boy, I usually work out on Wednesdays, but this show for Freddie and everybody else out there is so important that I'll just push it to Thursdays. It's okay.
Yep.
As I'm like dead tired anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I took a nap and I almost overslept it. When I texted you, I'm like, hey man, I'm gonna be around. And I'm like, all right, let me do this.
Okay, so
We're
let's.
old. That's what it is.
Yeah, I got an old video game back here. I think NHL All Star Hockey 96 or 97. I think so. That's Pavel Bure in the background when he was on the Canucks. So yeah, it's got to be like 97 or 98 or whatever. So yeah, there he is before he got pissed off and they sent him to Florida. Those were the good old days when players were like, I want to go to Florida instead of want to get the hell out of Florida. So, that's always nice to see. And yeah, there's hockey going on. Stanley Cup Finals is still alive.
Lame.
I'm hoping, because I sent you guys on the group chat little thing that the Tampa mayor said that, I hope the Lightning let the Habs win one game so that they can come down to Tampa and they can celebrate down here when they win the cup. So I'm hoping they pull off a 2004 Boston Red Sox. Just do the reverse sweep and really stick it to Champa Bay, as you have coined it, Charles.
Yeah, and I guess this is what we're gonna kind of lead into. I have not enjoyed anything about this damn hockey or NBA playoffs. I've enjoyed it in spurts. It's just there's a lot of pie that had to be had, and there's still more coming, kids. A whole pie, and it's like the unhealthy pie. It's gonna be the pie that's gonna kill me, be the end of me. But we'll talk about that to get there. But I really watched like two series in hockey, and they were all like the East and the West. I know that's not the brackets, but don't ask me to like to actually remember everything coming into it. But I really had to kind of go into that focus, and man, everything's just lame. Everything's just lame. This whole playoffs is lame. I don't like it. I don't mind the Lightning doing back to back. I actually enjoy that. I think that's good for sports sometimes when you were the best team 2 years ago, you get knocked out with the first or the second round, and then you're the best team last year and you won it and you're back in. I think that says something. I think it builds stability. But I just generally don't like sweeps and finals. And we might get them in both NHL and NBA. And with the mayor making the statements, I get it because, yes, it's a home team and you want them to kind of like, celebrate. But still, though, that's kind of, I don't know if it's insulting or not. And also, when we talk about Champa Bay, I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to say it. I don't know if I want to deal with certain fans of the Lightning. Just not shut up about back-to-back. Andrew, shut up about back-to-back.
Just Tampa fans in general now. Seriously, the Rays are good, the Lightning are good, and the Bucks. It's getting annoying now. It's not fun. It's not fun, especially down here when it's like, well, we had all the championships. They're spread out. is all. The Dolphins had their era, the Marlins had their era, and the Heat had their era, and the
And I think
Panthers
it's
haven't had an era.
you can't have the Lightning win back to back for a very foundational reason, because it takes away who was intending to bring hockey into Florida, which was the Panthers.
Well, the Lightning were
Instead,
first. Lightning first. They were.
2000 something, but I'm talking about the modern day stuff.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
you got to go modern day. And Freddie, I acknowledge the no hitter that happened in Tampa. Unfortunately, the MLB rules do not acknowledge
Yeah.
the no hitter in Tampa. So there you go. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I think about it this way: out of all the Tampa teams to go back to back, and no, we're only considering Lightning and Bucks because the Rays haven't done anything. They might not even make it into the playoffs this year. It's a very competitive AL where everybody else is just bad. But I digress.
What's
But
okay? So what's with the
I guess I
Cleveland
can learn
Indians?
from that.
What? Okay, just an aside. The Indians. How many times? I think this is the third time they've been no hit this season.
Yeah.
In
Well,
some sort
they're
of.
just their whole. Who's their hitters, man? They let Liriano go. I can't
Yeah.
name you anybody on that team.
All I know is Jose Ramirez because he was playing on the Marlins, and I'm not. And they got rid of Lindor,
Damn
and
it! I forgot to grab this Pokemon. That's a side story. I was
yeah,
so intent on getting the battle XP that I'm like, oh, I have this guy.
yeah,
But they got Lindor, but Lindor had out, and then Corral. They're pitchers
yeah,
because that's what they want. That's what Cleveland wants to be, remembered for. Because the only
yeah.
last great
But
hitter I can think of was Erasmus Ramirez, and that's guys. We're like talking 7 years ago. Not even that. We're talking 10 years ago.
yeah, this is let's see. So the Indians were hanging around with the White Sox for quite a bit, but now they've lost 9 games in a row, and it seems like this is the team that they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
This was the
Well,
team that they were supposed to be. So
let's just say it. Last year's pandemic season really was a pandemic season. Case
yeah.
in point, Minnesota Twins.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
Yeah.
these and look, it's teams that can rake, sure, but do they have the pitching? And then eventually, like the way that they're structured with the way they rake is it's really all or nothing. And when they're on nothing, they are nothing. They are nothing. Henceforth, why they've been no hit. Like their guys are like if you just look at them, they're just guys that they'll get you the big boppers, but these guys are hitting 240, 230, 220. So
And
you're gonna get
and
no hitters.
they are the definition of what you call small ball in baseball, and it's not like basketball. It's literally just like we're lucky they're not high slugging percentages either. Because here's the thing, they're more probably strikeouts because you have batting average, and I
Yeah.
know we kind of hate metrics, but I always kind of appreciate metrics when it comes to baseball because batting average does not portray like
Man.
when you are connecting,
Yeah.
how far are you connecting out.
Right.
But looking into some of the other stuff that's coming in, some of these guys are known for long balls, also just strike out a lot. Case in point, two of my Yankees, Clint Frazier and Sanchez.
Yeah.
That's just it's do or die. That's literally the mentality. And yes, that is the modern day hitting anyway. But we'll talk about But Cleveland is just since their World Series loss to the Cubs, they've kind of been like objectively we'll be above average because we weren't really that noticeable until we had CC Sabathia, and then that season they had like 100 wins. Everything else is just kind of like in the in between, and they got Tito over there with Terry Francona. That was more of a not noticeable hire, but what do you come out of it with everything else?
Yeah.
So
And it
right
seems like
now,
they had a good team. It's just that they are not willing to spend the money.
spend.
Yeah. So.
And I don't kind of blame them because if you rather like develop in full than build after, sure. I think the issue that comes of it is just how do you expect to generate revenue in a COVID era time? And because I think you would agree with me, you got another season at least of this nonsense. You
Yeah.
need that player, that marketable player, and you trade away your marketable player. And I think at the end of the day, Liriano only wanted like 11 years, 10 years, and he's what 26. So let me look at those statistics because I don't even recall if the Mets actually gave it to him. But something's
Lindor.
gotta
Yeah.
give.
Lindor
I
got.
don't know,
Yeah.
I
He
said
got the.
Liriano because I'm thinking.
Yeah. He got the big one. He
I
got the
think
big one.
K-Rod.
Yeah.
And he's at a position that is super noticeable. I mean, shortstops come time, it doesn't. So when you're actually Mr. Shortstop, it means something. I want to see how much money he
Man,
got.
how boring is
But
the Stanley Cup final when we just jumped into baseball?
serious, well, that's more
Well,
your
I mean,
bread.
it was an overtime game that the Habs won. Great.
Yeah. Well, okay,
And I'm
good. And they
hoping.
almost lost it.
Yeah, exactly.
I almost feel like the mayor was like, he did have influence. Like, come on, man. Let them. All right, Lindor's contract, 10 years, 341 million. Not the worst. It's basically in comparison with everybody else, and he's 27. So, and the NL is going to eventually get a designated hitter, so you
Yep.
can always shift him. But he's not like Mr. Power hitter. But
No.
um, it just it depends. Look, we all know ML contracts are trash. I'm just trying to make it work here because 10 years is the new norm. If you want to make it better, just do 8 years and prorate that Sun gun higher, straight up, right?
Mm.
Or just butt load it in the front the way that certain Trevor Bauer, which even though Andrew's not here, we're going to talk about that because I guess we got to talk about it. But back to the hockey thing is like they barely won that. So how am I? It's not even like an OT thriller when you're. Oh, damn it! I did it again, Francisco. Because I'm making my guys. We mentioned Wu-Tang Clan, and I was telling them protect the necks, but we don't protect the necks of the Pokemon that I'm trying to catch. Dang it! It's okay. That Pokedex is different. Oh no, I did catch him. Cool. But with like hockey games that are coming back, you're like, yeah, this is great. But it feels like since my adopted Boston Bruins were eliminated, I just don't care anymore.
Mm.
And I don't know, man. For me, I can't name you a single team on, was it Montreal? I know the
It's a
people
single
from
player.
Tampa. Yeah, I can't say a single anything. They're Habs, and I had to look to see what Habs actually, why their nicknames were the Habs, and I found out why. I'm like,
Les
yeah,
Habitants. Mhm.
that's kind of stupid. Why don't you just call yourself the Montreal Habitants? That's cool. I can work with that as opposed to what the Canadians. Like,
Yeah.
you're more of a you're a pejorative. Ew.
I wonder what they would call themselves if Quebec ever tried to secede from the rest of Canada they're trying, like some people in Quebec want to do. So
Quebecas played off of
Quebec,
Chewbacca's, and then you
I
can
mean
have a
they're the
little
Quebecois, I guess. Montreal Quebecois. I have no idea. I have no clue. Oh boy.
it's just weird, but it's just not interesting. I know the Lightning players, but I think partially there's also no marketable people. Do you know anybody on the Quebecas, as we're gonna call them, with a little Hispanic
I
accent on
mean,
there?
I do, yes, but I get your. I mean, aside, I mean, the goalie is Carey Price, so that's probably the. If you were to know
That
one
was the
guy,
guy
it
that
would be
you're
like.
loyal to him because he's like there for 8 years, right?
I mean, yeah, he's been there forever, and
Yeah.
he's really good, and he probably will make the Hall of Fame just by accumulating all those numbers. I mean, he's been playing the league this long, anyways, so.
Side note:
And
my
he's
adorable
gonna keep
Grookey is
going.
evolving right now.
Yes.
I named him Grookey Pie because I don't know what it is. Sword and Shield, most adorable Pokemons.
Yeah.
This is wholesome content, kids. If the Olympics can use like water polo as a real stat, I can use my Pokemon Shield stuff as are there. But I just haven't been interested in it. And do I want the reverse sweep? Obviously. But the Lightning win it, it's the lesser of all evils because I don't know if we can do another Buccaneer back to back. I don't think we can. It would just be too terrible because it's not. It's the Tom Brady legacy. It's the legacy of everybody else. But you got to pick a poison, man.
Yeah.
Are we not used to Brady just winning them too much?
Yeah. Yep. Where were we? Well, man, we were all over the
We
place.
were
We
on
didn't even
Montreal,
talk
then
about.
we went to baseball. We talked
Yeah.
about Cleveland.
We didn't talk about the Mech Warrior 5. You know.
Mech Warrior 5. Speaking of back-to-back-to-backs, I remember playing Mech Warrior 3 on my PC back in the day, 16 years ago. Go play it now. It's fun. Make your mechs destroy stuff. If I had a gaming laptop, which I think this could probably hold Mech Warrior 5, but go do it. As Grookey Pie becomes, I don't know what the evolution is. We're about to find out. Let's do this. Oh, man, he looks like a rabid... He's a thwacky, so he's a thwacky pie.
Yeah.
Why would you want to name a Pokemon that is the sound effect for masturbation? He's thwacking in the corner.
Thwack fap.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't get
God.
behind that. He literally looks like a yellow,
Well,
a banana flavored Willy Wonka candy. I forgot what it's called.
I'm going to go to the search bar. I don't know why. I accidentally left it to the cage with Charles. We're not there yet, folks.
We're not.
Not
We're not there yet.
not yet.
We're not there yet.
We're not yet. But
I mean, is there anything? Let's keep it focused. Is there anything that you feel Montreal need to do to sustain themselves?
I
What is it
mean,
really going to be better? Because
honestly,
it just seems like it's an offensive score out. They just need to play goal better, like defense.
I
And
mean,
kind of
that's
get their goal
essentially the
themselves.
only thing that they have to do. But it's really hard for them to try and contain that offense. It's the only way that they can win, and try and get lucky to get something past Vasilevsky. That's probably the only real thing that they can do, and just grind out 3 more victories to try and take this damn thing. Because that seems to be the way it's going to be. Because you saw what happened the one game that they won. It's the one game that Tampa had a hard time playing. So and honestly, that's probably the way the Panthers got their 2 victories, is to try and make Tampa work for it, like really work for it. Like, just at this point, you got nothing to lose. Just beats
Everything to
yeah,
lose.
just slash Stamkos. Just absolutely go to town on them. They can't suspend all of you.
Do you think they're playing harder or this fantastic against the Quebecians, as I'll call them from now on, because of the fact that Stamkos is really just a paper champion last year because he was hurt, right? And he came back for like
He
one
just
game.
he did the Kirk Gibson thing, just one going out in a blaze of glory, one thing, and that was it. So
Yeah, now he's like, y'all ain't gonna compare me to the Carson Wentz. We're gonna show you what happens, because I've seen his stats. I'm like, holy shit, man! Like, this is some stuff right there. And because I don't think people are realizing it is so hard to score 4 goals by the second period, I would feel. And that was like game 1 and 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and then we're going to game 3, and like they were coming close to it too. But man, and I don't know. I'm okay, like I said, Tampa won, but I just want it to be interesting. I want that text message from you that says, "Hey, they're at a game."
oh no,
6.
it'd be awesome.
Watch it.
It'd be
So I can
awesome if
watch
if
it.
Montreal just pushes it to Game 7. Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Because there's nothing worse, I feel, than being a fan of an organization and then suffering with incompetent coaching that screws you over in the
And
finals.
I
There's
think
plenty of coaches and managers and fan bases that can attest to that pain.
I think Tampa, and maybe it would also kind of more legitimize their championship if they did barely win it. Because I mean, people keep throwing out the Mickey Mouse thing. That they're throwing it out for the Lakers for last season, but of course, anything with LeBron, people try and diminish. I get that,
Yeah.
but yeah, they got AD and LeBron healthy, and they could carry a bunch of scrubs to a championship. Sure, you know.
I don't know,
And poor
man,
Jimmy.
but they're already legitimized to a degree because a year prior they were the number 1 ranked team in the NHL, right? If I
Yeah,
recall.
yeah. I
From
mean,
like, the
once again,
love
they
section.
won. They won under the circumstances, all that stuff. But I also like to. I'm also kind of hoping Andrew somehow replays this and is like just steaming on our comments about the Lightning.
Well,
The whole Kucherov thing going against the cap and stuff like that, and
well,
I
let's
still
look at
maintain
this.
the argument that he got the surgery on purpose. He got the surgery on purpose. I'm still gonna maintain that fact. All right,
Okay.
I'm not gonna
Okay.
be like, oh, you think he would go through all of that, going through surgery and the physical therapy and the pain? I'm like, hell yeah, he would.
Yeah,
He already
there
won the
is some honor
He
in
already got a
sports.
ring. He already got a
Honor in
ring.
sports.
Exactly. Okay. He already got his ring. He's gonna get paid to sit around on his ass for a bit and just chill, and then come back nice and fresh for the playoffs. I take that. I would take that. He's and because of the quick turnaround from one season to the other, that's probably the best strategy because you saw what happened in hockey and in basketball with the injuries.
Oh, but what thing? Let every fan base that wasn't Lakers or the Heat be like, oh,
And he's
that just happens.
he's-
There's no
he's-
such thing as any of this.
Yeah, you
Shut
see,
the hell up.
yeah, you see how much that affected everybody. It's the reason we have Milwaukee versus Phoenix.
And we barely have Giannis. Let me respect Giannis a little bit. We're gonna have our NBA session. We promise you guys, we're going to actually make this focus, just like you were Eve, fresh out of even
Mm,
Smelton,
yeah.
out of Eden Smelter.
Smelter, baby.
But
Yeah.
anybody who's
Steam.
playing
They got a big
on
sale right now.
any kind of busted leg, ankle, anything like that, always gets my respect because I have sprained my ankle. I have basically not hyper extended, but I've had to have physical therapy on my left knee from kind of putting it to work in that sense because I'm an idiot, and anybody who knows me knows I'm an idiot because I overdo it at the gym and the exercise. Nah, man, you could pay me all the max contract in either sport. I'm
Hmm.
not doing that. So respect to them, respect to
Respect.
anybody, and I don't think anybody's really injured in the Lightning or the Quebecians, right? Though,
Not
from what
not
I've
not that
seen.
not that. I mean, I honestly am not following the Stanley Cup Finals because I was so like, oh crap.
You're
Uh,
despondent.
I'm like, Tampa. It'll be some miracle if Montreal wins it. And yeah, they need some miracles, and maybe it'll happen. If they push it to Game 6, I'll probably watch that game. I probably will.
Yeah, I would 6 and 7. Fives are an elimination game, so it's like you need something that can kind of go there and bring it. But it'd be kind of interesting to see what they do in between. You want it to be interesting.
Yeah.
I mean that's the thing. You want it to be interesting.
I've
And
got a photo of the
of
Boba
Thwacky,
yeah Bobapedia entry of Thwacky up here.
he literally looks like not a yellow airhead, but what's a Laffy Taffy? He looks like a
Yeah,
Laffy Taffy with arms,
there you
and I
go.
can't take it seriously. Side note: Yamper is the cutest Pokemon because it's basically a corgi with
Yeah.
electricity, and I want it.
Well, I mean
Um,
this Pokemon game is based on London, like England,
I thought it was Scotland, Ireland.
or basically the UK.
Oh, okay,
It's basically the UK. That's what
because
it's
they're
based
going
on.
and saying lad, loss, and I'm
Yep.
like, all right,
Yep.
which, which I guess because it's all just going to lead to a global region Pokemon game.
Well,
That's what they
yeah.
want to
Each
do.
game is. I think the Black and White was like based on France, and then the Sun and Moon were Hawaii. So just hoping. Let's get a Florida one. Let's get a Florida based
So
Pokemon
we
game.
just basically need everything bug based, snake based,
Bugs, yeah.
and pit bulls. Okay,
Crocodile.
cool. Yeah, well, how could we forget about
Yeah.
gators? We
Exactly.
can't forget about the brothers there and some, big ass crows
Some
that are like bigger than they should be. Like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Florida man. Florida man Pokemon. A
Have you?
Mr.
I
Mime that
mean,
looks like a Florida man.
yeah. Well, can they just have thinning hair crack addicts with a white tee? You don't see those trying to give me Pokemon advice. Damn it!
Mm.
Oh, I should probably catch this Pokemon. But that's all I got in NHL. I don't know if anything's big. They already had the drafting announcements and then went to Buffalo Sabres. I think we talked about that, but that was my pseudo
Yeah,
update.
yeah, we talked about the train wreck that is the Buffalo Sabres already, and then yeah, we're basically, I mean, this is basically what's going on in the NHL, and then NBA playoffs are happening, so that's fun. So that's game one happened, Phoenix and Milwaukee. Phoenix with the game one, Chris Paul, his first ever NBA Finals game. You know, he put up some damn coin. He put up some points. You know, pretty good points. I honestly, I see Chris Paul. This is basically the basketball version of Alex Ovechkin getting his. It seems that way. Like this is okay. Guy who's been here playing all these years, more than a decade or so, of just unlike Chris Paul, who's just jumping from team to team to try and find one. But still, just one of those guys that's like, okay, he's just putting up the numbers and he's there and he's got the reputation and things like that. And then finally getting his shot. And so here it is, one lone shot at a championship. And Chris Paul did good in game one. The Suns did good in game one. And honestly, Milwaukee needs to win game two. I feel like
Okay,
they
yeah.
do.
I'm gonna stop being an idiot and just chime in on there. Listen, we talked about it in the group chat, like "Epic Go Phoenix" kind of thing,
Hmm.
because I was trying to figure out, do I want to support the team that beat the Heat? But I felt they're fraudulent. I just feel like they're fraud. I feel like Milwaukee is fraudulent. Yes, I know they beat us. Yes, I know they swept us, but there's been like two sweeps, so it doesn't even matter. We're not the only team that's been swept. It's okay. It's cool. I just look at it as, don't you want sometimes in sports we like the underdog, but the other constructed narrative is don't you want the better team in the finals to win, best record, best everything? And that's where it's a Phoenix. And I talked my smack about Devin Booker, and I ate the humble pie on Devin
Mm.
Booker. I ate the humble pie on Chris Paul because the thing with Chris Paul is I've never said in his 16 years he was trash. It was just more or less like I don't think it's gonna fit, and it fits. But the deeper I look into it, I'm caught on the sentimentality of the Phoenix team. I'm caught on the sentimentality of the Phoenix team, and I made a dawning realization, and it didn't register to me until now. There's some loyalty going on. There's some, brothers in arms, and I'm not talking about Chris Paul with his very roguish leadership to Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton demanding boys to be men.
Yeah,
I forgot really that Monty Williams and Chris were like coach and player for 5 years,
that's true.
6 years, and I can get behind that narrative because I can't get behind on the
Guess
narrative.
who's and
We want,
guess who's their GM?
yeah, we know,
The guy
we
whose
know.
chair is hanging from the Raptors at American Airlines
Yeah,
Arena.
what's interesting? He's got
James Jones.
James Jones has, I was calling him James Johnson because I'm thinking about the other Johnson, but James Jones has like apparently in his final 7 seasons, and then as an executive, he's been to the finals. Like there's some Pat Riley there,
Yeah,
because that was such a weird hire, but he did everything right. He's like, we have the pieces, we need the vet, we need the right coach, which tells us everything that we need to know. That sometimes you need the right coach because I can't get behind the narrative and know. Oh my, is that Growlith? Yes. I don't think I think you can I can get behind the narrative of Chris Paul getting it forward, Phoenix team sucking for so long, haven't really made a finals since, what, 93, something like that.
yeah. When Charles
I can get
Barkley was already
behind
up.
I can get behind that narrative. I can get behind the fact that it's Monty and him doing it together versus the narrative of like Giannis just needs to win one. We finally get Giannis one. That he's still young. I don't like that narrative. I need more narrative because I don't find Budenholzer as a fully competent coach because he's that, and we talked about it last show, but it pours over to tell you guys what we've been validate what we've been talking about for months is that these coaches are really stuck on being afraid to do adjustments, to call timeouts. Phoenix, the closest it was at halftime was like eight. Oh, I almost killed the growl. Okay, we're gonna save it. But it was an 8 point lead, and then coming out of the half, it went up to as high as 20 something because they don't know how to go through rotations. They don't know how to like call the timeouts. And I'm talking about Budenholzer and then the old guard. And for some reason, they just don't have the wherewithal just to break out of that system. And then they start switching up and trying out Giannis at the 5 inside of the 4 to get better spacing. I'm like, I should have been doing this a while ago because the matchups are just different. Because at least try to foul Aiden out. Get him to kind of, when you're in the post, going from there. Because Brook Lopez, this, and I don't mind Brook Lopez. I think he's had a good resurgence being
Yeah,
in Milwaukee, but Aiden's gonna eat him up, man. And even Chris Paul was eating him up because Chris Paul is just the king of like fake flagrants. That he's just kicking them, man. Just stop looking at the replay. But I digress. But I can't get behind the narrative of like, this is the opportunity for Giannis to win because Budenholzer doesn't rub it the right way. In that sense, it's not like it's Jerry Sloan where you're like, man, I really wish Jerry just had the opportunity when he had like the best constructed team. When it
yep.
comes to the coach narrative, this isn't like a narrative like the Heat team. If you're a non-Heat fan versus Lakers, like, man, I would really like to see, Spo win it without that big megastar coming into it. There is no narrative, and I think the only narrative that I've come across in this playoffs from Milwaukee is a bad narrative. You know what the bad narrative is? Giannis, when he's on the floor, suppresses Middleton and Drew because when he wasn't playing those last couple of games in the elimination game of the prior round, they were killing it. And Chris Middleton was like, F this nonsense, at least in the second half, trying to do something. But stat sheets, sometimes there's stat sheets when it comes to third and fourth quarter where you're behind by 20. They lost by 13, and it could have been much more if Monty didn't want to play with his food. And that was, what was it that Milwaukee threw to us after the sweep? It was like, oh, we knew not to play with our food this time. Phoenix was like, I'm a starving man that's been hungry for days. I've been
Yep.
sitting in a box, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having to eat, army rations compared to you kids at the buffet at the Sizzler. And it's showing. And you need to be hungry. And I think it was something, because I typically hate the TNT or ESPN coaches moment where you get to listen into the huddle because I think it's all just, it takes away the real emotion because when they're not being seen, there's a lot of cursing going on. We like that. We're when it's Charles and Francisco,
Yeah.
we really hard R. With the ratings here, with like the vulgar language and everything, the motivational speeches, we might be more akin to Greg Williams and Andrew might be. Greg Williams was the bounty hunter thing. Maybe me personally, be
Mm.
honest, right? But there was something about Monty Williams, and I'm just going to kind of catch it as in the sense of like, I can't recall it correctly, but it was talking about like, they're not. We need to play scared or something like that. And play scared, not being scared or frightened, but scared is like it's that fight or flight, um, feeling or sensation. You want to play as a team that want it more because your team should want it more because at the end of the day, DeAndre Ayton was what the second pick in the draft or maybe number one. If I
Yeah.
remember. I
He
think
was.
it was one.
I don't. Was he a number one pick? I mean, he got.
I think he was.
He's
I think he was
got a
one.
big
Maybe.
shoe. He's with Puma. I know
I'm
that.
checking right now for us
Um,
because there's going to be a summary coming into it. And he's also only 22. Jesus Christ,
he
everybody's
got
so.
19 rebounds in game one.
He had 22 another one. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
this is some old school stuff that you and I
Yeah.
love because that was more of our heyday. No, dude, he was pick one in
Yeah.
2018.
Okay.
And he had that bad rookie year. So, I mean, that stuff matters. It's asking him to how do you want more? Show that you're first round. Devin Booker, prove Charles wrong that you're just a stat stuffer. Because I've been riding on him for 2 years like that. And I'll eat that humble pie. And then Chris Paul, I'm like, just show him now that you finally got a chance to be at the big one. What are you going to do at the big one in that
Hmm.
sense? So there's just too much of a narrative. And don't we want that? Because here's the truth. Millions upon millions of viewers that are watching the NBA Finals, and I can't speak to this to the NHL, so I won't. But millions upon millions of people who are watching the NBA Finals do not have the team that they support in the finals. There is no Miami Heat, those Heat. There is no Orlando Magics for Andrew. There is not even Lakers, kids. So if you're a fan of the game, you got to pick a team. You can't necessarily pick a player in that sense. So what's the narrative what I'm going for? I got to go with that narrative that I just talked to you about. There's too much compelling stuff coming in. And also another narrative, Phoenix, of why you support it when it comes to I can't speak now. What is it? Because I'm still coming from that. Jones being the GM there, you want to have the success because I think it's going to open up the opportunity for more players to transition to front office roles. Do you want to be a player who goes to become a coach and you're basically a human meat shield, to quote Dan Levitar whenever says anything, or do you want to have an executive role? Because I can tell you what I would want.
Hmm. Oh
And I
yeah.
think success, because we talk about it, and I would translate it into the NFL, what Dan Campbell's doing in Detroit, even though I think he's just biting kneecaps means you're just a bunch of it's just hyperbole until you actually do it. But he went and hired his entire staff of men who actually played in the game. They even have Anthony Lynn as the offensive coordinator. Anthony Lynn had some Bill Walsh roots as a player, man, and then he learned it. They hired all these who actually play the game. So you get James Jones, and it's not like James Jones was the most prolific NBA player.
But he was just I know James Jones. He's a bench warmer. He's a practice. He's
Yeah,
basically a practice squad guy.
but it's
But
the idea that
he's sitting there on the bench watching what the coaches are doing, watching all that stuff, and learning
he doesn't
from, I guess,
best.
yeah, the Miami Heat organization. He was with them for a while. He went to Cleveland. He went to Cleveland and saw the way they ran things with LeBron there.
Not even just that. He's not. The thing that people need to realize is that he's
What
not
else did
coming at
James
it
Jones
with
play?
a
Let me check this out.
philosophy.
I'm gonna check this
Yeah,
out. I'm gonna check out stuff.
yeah. I mean, he could also be, he could be in anything, player we never forget, or a
Essentially,
future
yeah.
battalion executives.
Mm.
But what people need to understand is the point that I was making is this is what happens when you do Pokemon. You go on tangents and everything in between. The point coming into it that I was making is essentially this: is that he doesn't have to me what a philosophy is. You hear that too much
Let's see.
in
So James
NFL.
Jones. Let me see. He played for the Indiana Pacers. So he's with
Correct.
them during those seasons when they were like fighting the Detroit Pistons. Of course,
Yeah.
literally fighting the Detroit Pistons.
I mean, his stats for the career was 5.2 and
Yeah.
5.2 points a
So,
game and
so
1.8
yeah, he
rebounds.
was there, and yeah, he was probably there for the Malice at the Palace. So he was there. He went to so let's see. The Pacers were ran by. I think who was their coach at that time?
I mean, Larry
No, no, no,
Larry was touching.
no.
Was
It wasn't Larry
Oh
Bird.
no. I mean, well, no.
It was
Larry was like GM. But no, it was Carlisle, right?
yeah,
When he was
Yeah,
OG.
because he was
Yeah.
fired by Detroit, and then Larry Brown took over, and he went to Indiana. There we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Carlisle, who's playing with them,
Now
and
he's
then
back in Indiana.
so yeah, and Larry Bird was the I guess like the Pat Riley role. So
But it worked over there because why? Former player who doesn't have a vision, he just knows talent.
And then Phoenix Suns for a couple seasons. And that was, I think, probably, let's see, 06, 07. Which version was that? With when they got Steve
That's
Nash?
D'Antoni
Yeah,
years.
yeah, D'Antoni, Steve
D'Antoni years.
Nash,
That's Amari years.
Raja Bell, Amari
That was
Stoudemire, Sean
that's
Marion,
that name just gave me chills.
Mike D'Antoni. So he saw the beginning of that in Phoenix with the way they were running the offense then, which is like a precursor to what's happening now. And then he went to Portland for a season, and he was playing with LaMarcus Aldridge. Nate McMillan was his coach there, so there you go. And Kevin Pritchard was there, and then he went to Miami and spent all the time here from '08, '08 to 2014, and he left with LeBron to go to Cleveland, and he retired. So yeah, James Jones has picked up a lot of knowledge he's seen it all basically. All right, just like you can see it all if you go to McDonald's, get their BTS meal.
Yeah, we still haven't tried it,
Still
but we
haven't.
promised
Still
we're
going to
going to.
McDonald's.
We promise we're going to, kids. But I think that matters because these GMs, these people that are coming out of nowhere with vision. I'm going to give the modern day version right now, and I hate to say it because I think I like him as a coach. I think I like him in general, but Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens was a coach where over in Butler comes in, no NBA experience, does pretty well. Danny H, I kind of set everything up a little bit for him, and now Brad Stevens is in his capacity as a he's either a GM or an executive.
Yeah.
Just the apparent that Danny Age is out. But what's the first thing he does? Al Horford for Kemba.
Yep.
And I think that's a trade that just nobody wants. And the few people that I were talking to about it, my friends and everything, they're like, oh, it's really just a salary dump and everything like that and all that stuff. I'm like, yeah, but Horford's like 35, 36. And I know he played fine with Oklahoma, but at that skill position, at a power forward center, you don't even have real players. You got to figure out what you want to do with Jaylen Brown. These are the tough things, and I think players are always going to know talents. Players are not going to be like, they're not going to literally be like LeVar Ball, who's going to hype up a guy. They're going to know trash from trash. We know that. That's like the best thing. That's what the whole point of NBA trash talk is. You can never do it on NFL because even the best players get screwed up. You and I both know that. But as Rasheed Wallace used to say, ball don't lie. So that's what kind of comes into, I think, what players are valuing. I always think that, especially for NBA, because I'm going to kind of say it, I don't think they have a good contingency plan to a degree for post players going into it, because either you're going to be stuck on the panelists doing somewhere, or you're going to be hoped to be on some of the staff, but really who gets put up on a lot of staff stuff, in case you guys didn't see a lot of it, it's point guards.
Yeah.
It's point guards and shooting guards.
Yeah, it's almost like catchers as managers in baseball,
Correct. A lot of these guys
who can read the game. That's their job, is to read what's going on and what's happening at all times and plan it out. Yeah.
You got to think about those guys. Wouldn't you love to see Shaq coaching on a team? It'd be atrocious. But if that's someone of that kind of capability and size, would I not want to see a Timofey Mozgov? That's a callback. Want to kind of go over it? Sure. Hedo Turkoglu? No, we don't want any of that.
I'm just thinking of the way that James Jones constructed this Phoenix team, and bringing in Chris Paul was
Jay Crowder.
I mean, yeah, Jay Crowder too. But bringing in those guys, Jay Crowder's a fantastic. He's just a fantastic glue guy. Just absolutely, he'll do anything, essentially.
What's Chris Paul and Jay Crowder known for? Aggressive hands.
Yeah.
Playing that defense, and that's what Phoenix was lacking.
And Chris Paul, as the surly veteran, to kind of, because a lot of teams want to construct, like Philly trying to construct their team with a bunch of number one picks and all that stuff, and it's like, this is how it's gonna work, and they're gonna win it all, and they're gonna learn it. No, you need guys who can be taught to how to win. There's very rarely players that are that good that can just lead. Like even Dwayne Wade learned under, Pat Riley brought in Gary Payton, he brought in Shaq, he brought in Alonzo Mourning. I mean, what a way to learn under those guys, and then doing his thing in the 2006 finals, And so he saw, because Chris Paul, there there was like the whole narrative, oh, he's a bad teammate, especially when he was in Houston with James Harden and all that stuff, and then like
Well, James Harden was not the best teammate ever.
exactly. So you had that, and then he goes to like it's almost like, oh, he's been banished to Oklahoma City, you know, and then he that Thunder team was pretty damn good, and I think it's because of him and his
and we
influence
rooted
on
for
those
that
guys.
Thunder team
Yeah,
last year because we were like, oh man, Harden revenge game. Let's do this.
exactly. So Chris Paul, he showed people that he wasn't going to be like Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson did not want to be like this, you know, wise old veteran trying to teach the kids and all that stuff. No, he was like, I'm the number one option at all times, no matter how damn old my knees are.
But they're two different kind of players. I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah, still.
And I'm gonna look at it.
I'm just thinking of it like of a just the perspective of being the number one guy, and just taking it upon yourself to recognize that, hey, I'm good and all, but I'm running out of time, and these guys can help me out if I just teach them right.
But I actually think that's a good comparison because I see that issue of those two disparities 5 years from now, and the reason why I say it's a two different issues is because we can't compare it to AI in Philly. You compare it to AI in Denver. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to the structure what they had, because what was AI in Denver when he was on the fledgling years? Like, he was good for 2 years and then kind of went out. It was him, Melo, but then who was there? The coach. And whom was the coach? George Karl. What is George Karl?
Right, George Karl was there.
Stuck to what I talk about, where you have more of like how to work with a better positioned team as opposed to knowing how to work with the players, because Monty Williams is a young coach, man. Like, you know, he's been around for so long because that's what happens if you're good at what you do, either as an assistant or an advisor, because he was also advisor for Golden State.
Monty Williams,
49.
Yeah, he's
so this
49.
guy was coaching. He was coaching in like late 30s.
2005. Yeah, so he played. Let's see, he played from 94 to 2003. Knicks, Spurs, Nuggets, Magic, and Sixers.
Correct.
And then he was the assistant coach for the Blazers for like 6 seasons, and then he goes to New Orleans and becomes their head coach.
And that's 2010, so that's 10 years ago. So 39 is when he's coaching.
So he goes to New Orleans, is their head coach with them, and is with Chris Paul for a bit. Chris Paul gets a trade out and all that stuff, and the Hornets or New Orleans, whatever, the Pelicans, whatever you want to call them,
trash.
Yeah, it's just a bad organization. So
definition of instability.
Yeah. So then he goes to OKC, becomes an assistant coach again. OKC for a couple seasons, then goes off to Philly, assistant coach there. Gets back, I guess, learns, and then he's back in Phoenix now. Nice young team, and James Jones gave him the tools to kind of take them to that next level.
Yeah. And the comparison back to him and Iverson is just different kind of coaches that give you that flexibility to lead in your own way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Iverson, even though he's Mr. Last Shot, he's going to tell you should pass the ball to me because I can actually beat that matchup.
And once again, like you were saying, because that's like one of the criticisms we have against Doc Rivers is like, I mean, this guy, when was the last time Doc Rivers actually played an NBA game? The game was so much different the last time he actually played it compared to Monty Williams, who went out in 2003. Then 2 seasons later, he's on the bench, on a coaching staff, right? And he sees like the evolution of the game because he's with Portland, and he sees, like you had those Suns teams, you had the Lakers, you had the Mavericks and all that stuff, and then he's with the Pelicans coaching them, and he's seeing the beginnings of the Golden State Warriors and how they're doing things. Then goes to OKC, once again sees the Warriors just dominating all that stuff, and same thing in Philly. And he goes off to Philly, sees the way the Cavs are doing it and all that stuff, and sees the way that Philly was trying to do it but couldn't do it, and now goes to Phoenix. It's like, well, definitely not gonna do what Philly is doing, that's for sure. Because it ain't working. And lo and behold, he's in the finals. with a shot. Three more games, 3 more wins. That's all they need.
And we want that narrative. You know, if I have to eat humble pie, it's just basically like eating a salad. I don't want to eat a salad, but I don't want to go to my final destination at a much earlier age than I anticipated. So that's my mindset, and that's how I feel with this humble pie. But that's really all I got from this. I know it's game one going to game two. Milwaukee has to win it because you look lethargic. You know, you look like very much like Montreal. We're just very happy to be here, and you shouldn't have that sense of complacency because there's 28 other teams that would kill to be in your position. I
And
think would play
and
harder.
and who's to say Milwaukee's going to be back here anytime soon again?
Who's to say that those guys on that roster right now are
You
going to
know,
be there? Because if you get Drew Holiday and you ate that fat contract from New Orleans just to get to the finals and get swept and sweeping, that looks like a possibility, bud.
mm-hmm.
It looks like a strong possibility. And what happens, I wonder, it's like, what's the point of this big ass contract that you're taking upon yourself? So, how do you want to proceed from there? And I really think that's what you have to cognitively go into and see because you got to, do you want to even eat the contract of Middleton? You know, it's a thing where it's like, okay, it's just him and Giannis not going to work together, and it really shows that way. And you kind of have them balances. And then maybe the little seed in the back of your mind goes and says, man, Giannis just can't stay healthy in the playoffs. Back to back, man, happened last year,
Mm-hmm.
happened this year, and he's playing a sounding. He's doing the Joel Embiid where I'm just like, damn, man, they're really just kind of both doing into it. But what is your health? What is the longevity of your position? What if Saric, over in Phoenix, who's just a very like low end guy, tore his ACL. What if Giannis didn't hyperextend his knee and then he's out for um, the entire year? You tear your ACL now, you ain't coming back till next August.
Yep.
You're out of the season. You're missing the season. I think those are the big questions. And that's just me because what people need to understand in basketball, there is no such thing as loyalty. Only like three guys that I could think of off the top of my
The Miami
head
Heat are.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
Heck,
like player longevity
oh,
who stayed them because
yeah.
we only have one person, and that's UD, who
Yeah.
stayed forever and ever.
Yeah.
Wade was not.
Yeah.
Kobe, Wade, not
Well,
Wade.
no.
Kobe. Yeah, I was thinking on something, but Kobe won. But UD, Kobe,
Let's see.
big fundamentals.
Yeah.
Everybody else kind of goes and left and everything like that. So why can't you trade Giannis? You're telling me you could get a big package for Giannis?
Yeah, that's
Is that
true.
what you're telling me?
Yeah,
I think,
yeah, it's gonna suck for like season ticket holders and all that stuff, but
but if the Pelicans can get Zion Williams after trading away Anthony Davis because the NBA is rigged, I wouldn't worry about it. But would you?
just happened. Yeah,
Yeah, think of it because your lottery chances are high.
Yeah.
It's rigged.
and hopefully you've got the wherewithal to. I mean, that's the thing. But
Well,
did
Dan,
Milwaukee fall into Giannis though? I mean, because
Jason
Giannis.
Kidd slightly developed him, and then Bud came in.
But I'm just saying, like him being selected by Milwaukee. Let's see, what was he? He was drafted 15th overall. So it wasn't even like he wasn't handed to. It wasn't like a rigged thing where he's just given the number one pick and that's the way it's going to go down. So
But two things I would contend with
I
you
just-
is this.
I just think like the NBA, like, do they want Milwaukee, Wisconsin to be the team to be promoted? It seemed like they wanted more with the Lakers. Like, and yes, we're putting on the tinfoil hats right now, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
it's like, well, how could we justify getting Anthony Davis to Los Angeles? Well, why don't we give the New Orleans Pelicans the number one pick just to make it seem like it's nice and fair? So, hey, we got this freak of nature that's coming out of Duke that could help them out. Yeah, that's great, perfect. Everything lines up, so it looks like it's all nice and fair. That's the way it went down. That's
So
the
the
way
one
it
thing I
went
want
down.
to hit on Giannis though is because we say he wasn't gifted, but he fell to 15th. But what was he drafted? 2015. International players are not
2013. Wow.
2013.
Yeah.
It definitely international players are not as heavily scouted and imposed upon the way they are now within the last 3 4 years.
Yeah.
Because for how do I want to, what names do I want to bring up here? Andrea Bargnani, you get him early in the Knicks, 2005, no, maybe a couple of years, 2008,
Oopsies.
burn badly.
Yep.
Kosa Kufus, play very badly. These are some names that we're talking about really to play, to
Player remember forgets. Yeah.
player, Chris Campbell, even. I'm just gonna say it like that, even though he's like German but dual nationality. I'm just gonna go for example because there was a few of them I was looking into. Anybody who is like Croatian with big ass eyebrows, they were drafted, and then you're like, oh, this is kind of trash. But now the last couple of years, it's changed because you have your jokers. You have, there's another thing I'm a segment to that, but you have your jokers, you have your Lucas, you have your Ricky Rubios. Man, Ricky Rubio spurned everybody when you think on it because he had 8 years and he could. Well, Goran, it was I had to earn it and I had to be in the right system, which was in Phoenix, and then he came into it, and then he came to Miami.
Phoenix with the 3-point guards.
Oh, what a trash show.
Yeah.
With Horsick.
Look how fantastically since no wonder Eddie Jones got the executive of the year. Sheesh. Or James Jones. Gosh darn it! Now I'm getting my Joneses mixed up. I said Eddie Jones.
It's tough, man. You're going through there, but now it's different because the international guys they're better than the college kids. The only one who I think has been kind of a big fail for me, and maybe it's not fair, but it is. But of course, it's the worst evaluator of a front office going from coach to front office, which is which is Frank Nikia over in the Knicks. He plays. I know he plays. I don't know what he does. I know that a certain man is not fond of him in Tom Thibodeau. And here's the thing about Tibbs: if he doesn't like you after like game one, you ain't playing at all.
Yep. No love.
But the international thing's different. So with Giannis is out there, but they're going to scout higher. They're going to rig it. It's going to be perfect. And the one thing I'm also going to bring back to trading Giannis, what have we learned from Embiid, Giannis, and Joker, I feel? Maybe big men who can shoot the three are kind of overrated. They're great. They're not a dime a dozen. We can contest that, and we can agree with that. But have those big three won you? And I understand titles are a team effort, but those big three didn't even take you to a finals. Giannis didn't take you to finals. Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday did technically. We thought you were all getting eliminated. We thought like, okay, Atlanta's going. Joker can't seem. I mean, granted with certain injuries, but what could he do?
I mean,
and then
when you lose Jamal Murray, it seems
But we sometimes one man will put your. Shaq is the big man who led you to the finals. Really, a couple of years ago. I mean, it was pending all that stuff, but. You always need a 1-2, and at least there was a 2 somewhere in there because that's where Michael Porter Jr. was coming into it. You can't tell me he wasn't playing lights out when he went like 15 for like 17 on threes in the series against Utah. And Utah, like Rudy Rashad 3 couldn't get you anywhere. So maybe are we just kind of overthinking it? Maybe if I trade Giannis, I can tell you I can get a good package for sustainability because that team's gonna get too expensive. They couldn't afford Malcolm Brogdon, and Malcolm Brogdon would actually been perfect for them now. In this whole portion, I would feel. We went in depth on the NBA.
Man, look, we actually sounded like we were talking about. I mean, we did research mid segment too. Sheesh, I was recalling. I like recalling, like mid 2000s NBA because that's when I was like really getting into it to start out as my fandom.
I mean, there's just so much of it when we're talking about like Eastern European like NBA players that could do. Because I was looking at the other day, I was like looking at the 2005 NBA draft. I'm gonna look at it now just to give you Andrew Bogut, Bud, Australia, but Bud. I mean, that's just a typical pros, typical center. But there was another name that I threw out, and then you're gonna be like, holy crap, Charles, I can't believe that still happened because I was looking into all these other cats. Oh man, I'm looking at it now. That's what we should probably do on the Andrew List episodes. Like, oh, can we believe we avoided these guys? But it kind of matters because it's a new wave now, especially since if you're in the and we should talk about, I guess, a little bit about the draft to a degree because it's coming up. You guys might be able to hear our fast.
Well, I can't. Once again, I hate prospects. I hate drafts. I hate young players.
But there you go, though. It's because now the international players are better. You're not dealing.
Oh, I get that.
Your typical guys. You're not dealing with a Oleski Petrov
In
from
fact,
Washington, drafted in 2005.
in fact, yeah, I think they were. I mean, I guess teams had to kind of go through the growing pains of that, just trying to find guys out there. But now you're getting legit talent coming from these international leagues.
And
So
why would
much
you want to
so,
have them with a COVID, COVID crisis,
so much so that
schools?
like kids here that don't want to go to college and want to go, they can just go there immediately, get paid, play against actual real men. Because I mean, we've seen college basketball. Have you seen a college basketball game lately? like,
But it
like
took a lot for me to watch the Baylor game.
it's very hard to watch college basketball. I don't know if it was better back in the day before the one and done rule. I have no idea. I think that was the whole reason the one and done was like the NBA trying to throw the NCAA a bone. Like, okay, we're gonna put a rule. That way, you guys have some actual talent because all these kids are now coming out of high school and rather instead of foregoing and foregoing the college experience, because man, it is rough. It is rough. Those are actual student athletes.
Those are guys who are basically trained into it. But also
Those are
understand about
future
international
insurance salesmen.
players.
That's for sure.
Damn right. But with the international guys too, is they're playing that pro level at 16. That's what Luca was doing for
Yeah,
such a long time.
yeah. It's the same thing in the NHL, but it's kind of different in hockey. Maybe I'm stretching that a bit because like the junior hockeys in the NHL
There's many
just so
levels of
so
them.
much better than. But I think junior level, major juniors, I don't know if BU's even listen to this, but I think are better than NCAA level players for the most part.
Sorry, BU, you know it's true.
Yeah. Whereas, and I would think that players coming from internationally, like Russia or Finland or Sweden or what have you, I think those guys may even be also be more talented than NCAA college players
So
coming into it.
can I give you the name of the all defining worst international kind of pick that you can have if you're an established team?
Darko.
Almost went with Darko. You know who the other equivalent was? Sasha Vujovic from the Lakers in
Oh
2005. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Let that sink in. Darko was the other one.
yeah. Oh man, and could you imagine the Pistons had selected Carmelo? Dear Lord.
That'd be unhealthy.
If they had selected Carmelo after, like, let's see, no, Darko was no, he was sitting on their bench when they won that championship against the Lakers. But they could have. That would have been a
That was,
dynasty. That probably would
but
have
that's
been a
the thing.
dynasty.
That was the Wade. That was basically the best draft I think since Magic and Larry, right? Because it was LeBron, Melo, Bosh, Wade, and then Darko goes in at number two.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Oh man, Darko. Player remember forget. Let's just transition to this. And Darko Milicic, I don't center power forward,
How long did he
drafted by
play?
Detroit. Not a lot. 468 games for his career, averaging 6 points, 4 rebounds.
I mean,
Um,
sheesh.
Started out with Detroit, then went to Toronto, then Orlando, then Memphis, then
He
to the
wasn't.
Knicks because
Of
like the
course, he
Phil
went to
Jackson
Orlando.
era. From 2003 to 2013. I think this is like my first like player to ever forget, but he was on my like thing, so I just had
Yeah.
to kind of talk to him.
Oh no.
Um,
Let's see. Oh my
got
god.
basically a throwaway ring. Drafted second, probably the best NBA draft out there.
He was with the Boston Celtics. Really? Oh, he
Yeah,
played one
bench
game.
warmer,
Never mind. Okay, never said that.
bench
Okay.
warming, man.
Minnesota, New York, uh, Memphis, Orlando. Sheesh.
From
Man,
Serbia.
Orlando will take anybody, won't they?
Yep,
Yikes. They will take anybody's trash and try and turn it into treasure.
yep. And they put him some full time minutes. Full time minutes, man. This is just not good.
Yeah.
The whole point is like he was so we remember it because it's kind of laughable. He is the like quintessential definition of what I've spoken about of
Is that
uh,
really his nickname, the Human Victory
human
Cigar?
victory cigar. Love it because
That
what
must have
winning
come
did
from
he do?
Serbia because there's no way that was given to him in the NBA.
Serbian leagues are different, right? A Dollar Tree cigar. That's it. Gas station cigar. That's what you call them. I don't know if I got anything else to say to him or about him on that except for it was always kind of laughable. And then some of his career averages he was making. He went the highest at 8.8
Hey.
points for the game, but even a rebound. And here's the thing you guys got to understand: lottery pick, what, top 12, top five is usually there. You don't go to the potential. You're like, this guy is at least going to play coming into it, and it's been that way for 20 years. And this is bad. Darko, play to remember, forget. You and Sasha, you're my prime examples of how international players are not you guys anymore. Because in comparison, you have Joker doing Joker things.
Yep.
Even Yusuf Nurkic is another example.
Yeah.
Man, we really went down that rabbit hole today,
Yeah.
but we led it to somewhere.
And it led us to. Gosh darn it. I should be much more quicker on these transitions. But yeah, word from non sponsors, people, places, things, concepts, what have you, that I've been and Charles has been enjoying over the last week. So, got a food based one for you guys. Hope you guys will like this one. And it's really a nondescript, to be honest, because kind of been bad lately with my eating since the 4th of July.
Man,
I haven't been gaining weight. I haven't been gaining weight, so the metabolism is holding strong for now. But yeah, it's not been good. So tomorrow I will try to contain myself for the most part. But we're we're trying here. But and I might go to the baseball game this Saturday against the Marlins against the Braves because it's Venezuelan Heritage Night, and they are going to be selling arepas and stuff. So I'm like psyched. I'm like real excited. And because of that, I've been eating arepas the last couple days. But that's not actually what I've been trying to. Not what I'm my non-sponsor because arepas are non-sponsors every day. Okay, much like Jimmy Butler is Man Crush Monday every day, and a certain hussy is trying to take him away from me. So.
oh my God, that timeline.
We're
That
gonna
stuff.
talk about it after this because there's
Bud,
nothing else going on.
we're gonna get canceled.
Maybe Maria Taylor could take over our show. I don't mind.
Yeah, we could use a vacation.
She could take it if she wants. We'll get the royalties. That's fine. I don't mind. Well,
We're just okay with female broadcasters with us.
yeah, that's fine,
all
man.
right.
Jeez, we tried to get Linda Cohn on here. We
Linda,
tried.
what's up, man?
Yeah, I've tagged her on a couple tweets like, hey, you know,
Come talk about how you hate the
you
Stanley
know,
Cup Finals
are
right
you
now.
go girls? I always tag them if they have a Twitter account, like hoping and praying. So
Yeah.
there you go. Anyways, Charles, it's not at but this time it's empanadas.
Oh hell yeah.
Empanadas.
Empanadas every day, baby.
Yeah. So empanadas, they're good. Turnovers, which is what dirty gringos call them. Okay.
Ugh. But it's not the same.
It ain't the same, man. Turnovers. I mean, even the name turnover is
Technically,
it's worse than empanada. Empanada.
yeah,
That just sounds like deliciousness, man.
yeah. Technically, and this is controversial. This is almost as controversial as it's a hot dog, a sandwich. And man, that's what we really should do. We should go back to those kind of thought process between that and burritos or tacos. But technically, and you might punch me in the face. This might end our friendship that we've known each other for 6 years. Going
Well, I'm
on.
the one who said that the KFC had rats inside of it. Well, it probably does, but I'm just
It's
saying.
still good.
Yeah,
But this
so
is
I've
where
learned
it's going to get
since baby.
super. This is where we're going to get super controversial here. Technically, empanadas are hot pockets. I was literally having this conversation with my mother the other day, and then there was like the bafflement that comes in. Yeah,
But
yeah, I know. You don't want to acknowledge it.
it's like that meme with like with like was it? I don't know, man. I like the meme with like Zach Galifianakis in freaking The Hangover, the first one
Yeah.
when he's like they go to the casino, he's doing all that stuff. Well, man, I'm just like seeing the numbers going across, trying to think like,
Yeah, yeah.
trying to put it together.
There's so many other ones where they're like
I'll
looking
be
at the phone
Charlie
and
by
looking
the end
back
of
up.
it with like Pepe Sylvia
But
in the mailroom.
but let's do the non-sponsor, and then we're gonna dive into food because Francisco and I love our food, and
Okay.
we're gonna talk about that. We can. We got to do it.
I mean, the reason why, and you know, you can get empanadas, play smelter while you're eating empanadas. That's probably a good idea. You know.
Eden's empanadas. That's her bakery. That's how she makes her money on the side to go slaughter the people after being cast out of Eden.
Yeah. So here I went to a place called Epa Epa because my normal Arepa place that I went to was closed yesterday, which I was distraught for a bit, Charles. I was distraught. I go on
Closed
DoorDash.
permanently?
Huh?
Closed permanently?
No. Just closed for the day. Just closed for the day.
Okay.
Thank God. But they were closed. I usually I order them on DoorDash. I go pick it up because it's on my way to work, and then I chow down. And so I was looking forward to it. I hadn't eaten their arepas in a bit, and I was like, okay, here we go. Let's do it. Let's have some arepas. I'm getting psyched. I'm trying to work my way up to Saturday when I'll probably just have an arepa at the baseball stadium, which is already sounds like heaven to me. So I was distraught for a bit. I'm like, oh, I still want arepas, but now I gotta find it someplace else. So I looked at the nearest place near my job, and there was this place called Epa Repa in Doral. I think they have a Kendall location if you want to go all the way out to frickin' Greece or something to try and get that. Because I sure as hell I'm not gonna go all the way to Kendall. So yeah, I went there. I ordered an arepa from them, a chicken salad arepa with a reina pepiada arepa with two empanadas, one filled with shredded chicken, the other one filled with cheese,
Buddy.
and so just because I hadn't tried them, I had never tried them before. This is like the first time I went there. Okay, so I went, grabbed it, and I was driving on over to the office, and I was like, man, damn it, I want to eat, I want to munch on something right now. So I'm like, I'm not gonna eat that epa. I'll just have the empanada. Empanadas are nice and portable, man. That's part of one of the fantastic things about them. It's everything's nice and contained, right? It's just beautiful. It's art, man. It is absolutely art. The way that empanadas are designed. Okay, I don't know what civil engineer did make the empanada way back when, but we should have statues for these people.
The Virgin Mary made it because they're heavenly. When
You
made
know,
properly.
we should have statues of these. Why are we putting up statues of world leaders? Why not the person who made the empanada? So, I and so here's their selection of their food. I also have their tequeños as well. Nice.
Oof, buddy.
Yeah, basically tequeños are like Venezuelan breaded fried cheese.
Oh
Just-
man,
Oh,
I'm gonna, do you want the controversial statement too?
go ahead, Charles.
Tequeños are mozzarella sticks.
Actually, I've heard somebody already describe that. That basically they're Venezuelan mozzarella sticks, but better. But better.
Yes, you don't need marinara sauce.
No, you do not. Heck, you can have guava inside of it. You know. Oh, and that takes it over the top. Ooh, yes. So, there's an image of their empanadas right there. Let me see if I can zoom in on that bad boy. It didn't zoom in that much. Whatever. There it is. That's what their empanadas look like. Nice, very nice, nice and plump. Just these were the plumpest empanadas, Charles. I'm trying to find a size comparison.
Wait, they have dipping sauces?
Yes, they have dipping sauces, my good man.
My
You
grandmother would beat the shit out of them if they tried to put that in our household.
You got the pink sauce there, my dude.
I've never thought this is why I hate living in Martin County.
You know.
I lived in Miami for 3 years and I never contemplated.
Yeah. I had let's see, I had the garlic cilantro dipping sauce with mine. That's what I had mine with. Nice and
Ooh, yeah. I can see
fantastic.
that with the chicken. The cheese, no, I couldn't do that. So
You know
what was
it
the
was
taste?
fantastic with the chicken.
What was the taste rate? You know, because our ancestors, our
Okay,
lineage
so
is known for empanada people.
I'm
so
I'm
I need
trying
the
to
play-by-play.
find the size comparison to how big these things were. Okay, I'm holding a standard Xbox style controller. Let's say it's about the size of that. Okay. As far as the thickness, the plumpness, these things were plump. Okay, nice and plump. Like there was some heft to these empanadas. They did not skimp on the shredded chicken. They sure as hell didn't skimp on the cheese. Okay. Oh man, there was heft to this, my good friend. Oh, oh, frickin' man. Oh, I bit down into them, and usually there's like in some empanadas, it's like a big pocket of air, right?
Oh yeah,
You're just getting mostly
they're
air.
more
It's like,
shell than meat.
yeah, you're getting a big pocket of air. It's like you open a bag of chips and it's mostly air rather than chips. So no, not this one, my good friend. There was very little air to be found in these empanadas. You were biting straight down into just straight up shredded chicken or straight up cheese. It was great. It was beautiful. It was fantastic, and yeah, man. I got empanadas today at my normal Arepa place, and yeah, there's a nice sweetness that they add to the shell for theirs, but I gotta give it to Eparepa on this one. They win.
What's the price range? Because empanadas should be expensive, but they're gourmet.
These weren't that expensive, to be honest. I think these were like maybe like $2 each or something.
Oh my god, guys, you don't understand. That's a steal.
These were like $2 or 250 each, something like that. It wasn't because the ones that I bought today are like $4 each, and I'm like, I made the call today. I'm like, if I'm getting empanadas, I'm going there. Heck, I might just, if I'm really bad tomorrow, I might just have that as the lunch, just straight up, just empanadas, no arepas and nothing like that. Because I gotta give it, their arepas were not good.
Well, we're gonna leave that to the food conversation on a
The
regular basis.
arepa wasn't good. The one that I tried, it was smaller than the place that I normally get it at. It was more expensive than the place that I normally get it at, and it wasn't crunchy. Like it was no bueno. The arepa, it left a lot to be desired. They have a lot of stuff there too. They got burgers. They got a bunch of stuff. But they sure as hell mastered the empanada. It's, yeah, man. The plumpness. Look, there's more pictures of the empanada right there. Nice and golden and brown. Oh,
They have burgers there too.
yeah. I don't know if I'll
What's your
try the
typical
burgers.
Miami burger?
Yeah, they got hot dogs. They got wings too. But the empanada, fantastic. So yeah, look at that. Look at that. Oh, yeah. But promo code plumpness.
Yes, I can agree. Damn, man, I miss Miami sometimes. So my non-sponsor is we're killing the backlog, man. We're cutting it up like them empanadas and the meat that they're using for focus and for emphasis. So over the weekend, I'm like, all right, the last game I had beat was Star Wars Squadrons,
Wait, hold on.
and
Freddie's got a question up there. I don't know if you can
oh,
see it.
shout out to the place in South Bend where you can get pop rocks and chicken wings. And then how are the marble runs doing now?
Oh, wait. Is that the I think that's the frickin' the things that Andrew was talking about, the Yelly's marble runs.
Oh, those things.
Yeah, that they have the actual races. I haven't watched them, to be honest, and I don't think Andrew has either because he's really serious about this. He's going LeBron James during the playoffs serious where he
His
just
brow
completely
is
zones
furrowing.
out. Yeah, no social media. He's gone. He is out right now. I think. I don't know. He might have
Yeah,
retweeted
he's in the
something.
dark.
Exactly.
So speaking of Twitter, follow us on Twitter. Charles the True.
And
Dan
pop
Freehold
rocks on,
Hilarious.
on chicken wings, Charles.
Um, maybe I can
Yeah.
get a little bit on the crispy.
Yeah.
Maybe. Look, Freddie, you already know this. I'll try anything, man. Like it's Fear Factor, except as long as it's not bugs or like cow penis, then we're
Hold on.
good.
Let me see. I gotta look this up now.
Yeah, we might as well take a peek at into this. This is Andrew's basically
This is the Andrew List
non-sponsor.
shows.
This is the Andrew non-sponsor of Pop Rocks. There you go.
Like a pop rockin' chicken wings recipe. Yeah, that was Food Network. Pop
I
rocks,
paid it.
pop rocks chicken wings. No, that's even okay. Well, okay, it's a thing. It's a thing
Oh, you're
apparently.
the resident goof cook. Oh, there's a Butterfree. Come here, come here. You're the resident goof cook, so maybe that should be. Look, I can get behind it because you want to know why? Sometimes things that shouldn't fit fit, and I'll give a very great example: Doritos Los Tacos. Mmm,
Yes.
mmm, yeah, hit
I'm
some
gonna
of
look
that.
up this place that he was talking about. Tap House on the Edge in South Bend, Indiana. Family restaurant. Oh, by the way, the family memes for
Oh,
Vin Diesel are
buddy,
fantastic, man.
I haven't even fluttered to you guys. Though, granted, the Chris Benoit font, I laughed. I don't care, but yeah, that was tough. The
Yeah,
Roman Reigns one, incredible too.
tater tots, yes, yes,
Buddy, I love me some well-made tater tots. Are you kidding
yeah.
me?
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
See the baguette.
Let's see. Is this all the photos that they got? There's no page two to this. Come on now. I'm trying to find the chicken wings. Oh well. There's some wings here. There you go. That's next to the taters. We are bad, man. We're go to eats. Go to eats. All right. Here we are at the eats section. There we go. Oh, good. You got your nachos. Got your pick your protein. Okay. Let's see. Bowls and
I wonder
greens.
who thought about doing pop
Fins and
rocks on chicken
feathers.
wings.
Let's see. Boneless wings. Fresh. Okay. Okay. All right. Wing sauces. Add Pop Rocks to your favorite sauce. Look at that. They have the option right there.
Dude. You know that meme where it's the old white guy who's like, Lord Jesus, I've seen what you've done for others, so you can do that for me.
Yeah.
I would try it.
Yeah,
I
why
like
not?
distinct flavors.
Why not? Why not add Pop Rocks to any of your, let's see, honey garlic, garlic parmesan, Thai chili, teriyaki, boom sauce, sweet barbecue, hotter than hot, and original sauce. Okay.
Y'all
That's
can't do this to me. I haven't eaten dinner yet, man. What the fuck?
okay. Sorry, Charles, we kind of derailed there, but yeah.
You're good. That's Freddy's on sponsor
Yeah.
essentially. So we had Freddy's thing. My whole stuff is, as you know, I'm trimming the backlog, going from there. But I wanted something actiony. I wanted something fun. I wanted something adventure. So I chose Uncharted Lost Legacy. It was definitely worth every penny I paid, which was a total of grand total of $8 that I picked up on last December. So I'm actually playing a more current game. 8 hours of fun. It's a continuation of Chloe Fraser and Nadine Ross's story from Uncharted 2, 3, and 4. That's where their appearances kind of came in there. It's a Nathan Drake less game, but it has a lot of surprises, packs of charms. I love the Uncharted series. Three is overrated, saying that right now. Four and two are the best one. One is just fine. The shooting mechanics are in between, but this game is beautiful. You're in India. It's great. These spectacles are beautiful. You're chasing the lost tusk of Ganesh. There's some cool, cute stuff that's in there. Just moments that I liked. Like there's a scene with monkeys around. I like that was great. Um, Not as much shooting mechanics, but Chloe is different than Nate, even though there were some good shootouts. But beautiful scenery, a lot of fun. Really cheap now on your PS4. It's a great assist you get for 20, but it's routinely on sale for like 10 or 12. But I would have paid 20 for it. It might be one of those games I replay later on down the road because it was only 8 hours. I literally killed that this weekend. I
Nice.
started on Saturday. I finished it Sunday. Part of the thing is because I go into the living room and play the big spectacle games to connect to the TV because that TV out there is in 4K. Looking at OLED, maybe I'll finally pull the trigger on it. I just need to go on sale. But I find Chloe to be a fascinating character, even though I thought she was just tongue in cheek in 2, 3, and 4. Actually, she doesn't show up in 4, but 2 and 3. Um, but it definitely makes me say, hey, since Nate's story is done in Uncharted, could we probably get more Chloe missions? Or not Chloe missions, a Chloe game. So 8 hours is all I need. I don't need everything to be 15 hours, 16 hours, 17 hours. And it's just good writing, good humor, good entertainment, beautiful imagination of when they come into it. Definitely a recommendation for me. Very glad that I played it now. Sometimes there's games where I wish I played sooner, like Breath of the Wild. This one came at the right time. It was a good palate cleanser because I'm still, a month and a half later, having the bad taste of Far Cry 5 in my damn mouth, dude. God, that was just so fucking bad. Now we're on Pokemon Shield, and we'll see if that's my recommendation next month. So Uncharted Lost Legacy. What do I want to do? Promo code. Promo code from the game. man, there's so many that I can kind of pick up. Do I want to go from Legacy or do I want to go from her game specifically? But this is Chloe's game, so we're gonna go from her in of itself. So promo code um, Shiva.
Okay.
You play
Yeah.
the game and figure out why.
Okay. I mean, it's set in India. That works. That works. You know. Uh, I don't know if you can get McDonald's with beef in India. I don't know if that's even a possibility, but I think they do have McDonald's, but I think it's beefless. So there you go.
At this point, you just want the
Be tasty.
fries.
Yeah. Oh well. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah. If you got it physical, right, or you download it?
Physical, man, because
Yeah.
I trade in games. The only
Yep.
time I go digital is for the sole purpose of like it's such a cheap price that
Yeah.
I'm not going to get it as cheap Nintendo games, or if I have a credit to the digital account, like
Yeah.
the PSN or the eShop, then I'm like, all right, screw it, we'll go from there. Because it's never bad to always go digital, but I think you're a sucker if you're going to
I think.
do digital
Yeah.
games that you're not going to play more than once.
Yeah. That's kind of now my thought process. So let's get nerdy here. Let's go with the
Let's
nerdy
get
stuff.
nerdy, kids.
Let's get nerdy here. So yeah, yeah, I've been changing my habit of buying games now. Like right now, like Steam has like their sale. You can't do physical on PC anymore. You just can't. There's no way anymore.
I'd be so
It's over.
surprised because there's never sales like that.
Yeah. So
Never ever.
yeah. So I just like, and you're not gonna. Yeah, those sales don't happen at that rate on consoles. You know, that's what sucks. But yeah, I've been now that I've been selling off my collection.
I corrupted him, kids.
Yeah.
I corrupted him.
Now that I've been selling off my collection, I have a nice pocket full of change now from it. It's it's kind of been the new thing for me. I don't want to download games that I know I can get physical in any way, shape, or form. Even if it's more expensive, because I like, what game was on sale? Like it could be like something dumb like NBA 2K, you know. But even then, that's probably not a game I probably would even buy physically or digitally, anyways. But well, anything from Nintendo. Like if they have like a sale, and their sales are probably like just like $5 off,
so rare.
at most $10 off. I probably would just forego it and be like, I'll just get the physical copy anyways, because Nintendo games, even way down the line, like they hold their value. Even if you have like a super popular game, like Mario Sunshine or something, like I sold that off, still held its value. So that's not bad at all. And if you get one of the rarer Nintendo games, stuff that they won't print a ton of, like a Paper Mario or something, oh, you're in luck. You're in luck. So you might as well get that. Yeah, I think it was Paper Mario. The Origami King had you know, like $10 off, and I thought about it. I'm like, no. First off, I'm not gonna buy games right now when I have so many in the backlog that I can't justify buying something new right now. And even then, like, I'd rather get it physical. So that 10, 15 years down the line, I can sell that again. And apparently, I'm not the only one who thinks this way, especially for like the Switch. Because the Switch, you have all those tiny little cartridges. It's kind of nice to collect them in a way. They're very small boxes. They don't really get in the way. So they found a nice little tiny form factor for you to collect them. It's not like this, like the disc, the Blu-ray disc. You got to really like take care of those things, make sure they don't get scratched, any of that stuff. So that's a little more trouble for the disc-based stuff like the Xbox and the PS, PlayStations and stuff. But I got my hands on the 360 now, as I'm trying to divest myself of my collection. My dad finds a 360, and I have no controller and no games for it, but I might start finding games right now, especially for a 360. If you're collecting right now, or heck, if you are thinking of just collecting just for the sake of flipping them later, it's probably the best time ever to collect 360, Wii, and PS3 games. And,
Definitely the Wii.
Yeah, and DS games. I think the DS is probably going to be the next one to like jump up in value, especially because you can't really like yeah, there's a DS emulator on PCs and stuff, but those games are not going to get re-released ever. Ever. They would have to completely like redo games like top to bottom to remake a DS game on like the Switch or the PlayStation 5 or Xbox or PC now because of like the touchscreen and it had a microphone and like all that stuff. You're not going to see some of these games ever again. And Nintendo, who just likes to copy and paste re-releases, they did it on the Wii U. There were some Wii U, DS games on the Wii U. I didn't buy any, but that ain't happening now. That's not gonna happen. So DS games, and I see the price of my collection with my DS games. Right now, they're starting to creep up. Like DS games when they were like brand new, most of them were like $30, right? So I think a few of them are starting to creep up over that $30 range again. Like so, they're starting to become more valuable than they were when they were first released. So if you got a collection of DS games, especially if you have like the box and the manuals and stuff, because a ton of people had them when they were kids and they beat the shit out of their boxes or threw them out. They you're gonna be good. You're gonna be good if you kept those things there. I kept most of mine. Actually, no. The only ones that I don't have are just games that I got like a GameStop. You know, they give you the generic box with nothing on it.
You just get the disc, the little
Yeah.
sleeve that they give you.
That's even worse. Yeah, I remember that when I had my when I got when I had my Dreamcast. That was bad. No protection whatsoever. Just give me the cheap DVD box case that you got from Blockbuster when the store when the store went out of business. Please, just give me one of those.
The ugliest cases too.
Oh yeah, those are
You
the
felt
worst.
dirty, man.
Oh, they made you feel poor. Like you left. Okay, so GameStop boxes, like when you like like especially if you're buying a console that's like current right now, and they have a bunch of the used versions of the games. Like they have okay, you can get it brand new, pay like GameCube or PS2 or Xbox. Yeah, you can get it. You can get it brand new for $50, but for $5 less, you can get it in this really crappy box with
And we were
no cover
poor.
art and no manual and walk out of the store and look incredibly poor compared to the kid that walked out with a brand new copy. They tried to make you feel poor for sure. Oh, and especially if you bought like the accessories too. You ever bought
Oh,
accessories at
fuck.
GameStop?
Yeah.
And they have like they give you that like essentially a garbage bag.
Well, it's a garbage bag or it's the sandwich wrap bag,
Yeah,
and you could
exactly.
smell someone's
Not
like
even a
day old
Ziploc. They
tuna.
had to staple it together. Oh, that was
All that for $3.
yep.
That's the thing I don't understand about buying used versus new. It's literally $3 with
Yeah.
tax. It's like additional two.
Yeah.
But I rather have it clean now if it's that whole like buy four get it for $20 thing, and on their own they're like $20. You buy that.
Yeah.
You say, yeah, I know it's dirty, but I don't give
You know who's good at that? Toys R Us is good at that.
Well, they don't exist
I
anymore.
know. They were good at like, hey, buy this brand new, get one for the same price. Or two. I think they had two at some points. Like buy two at the same price for free. It was like Lids. You ever go to Lids buy a hat? They do that all the time.
Yep. It's rack rooms basically. If I want to get one half, hey, for the price of one pair of shoes, I get two.
So, so yeah, I got the 360 now. I really want to play it now because now that I have it, like the only people like my cousins had 360s and stuff like that, and I was
And it's not graphically shot either. It's not the
no.
generational jump as if like the
Look,
OG
this is the
Xbox
guy that had the
PS2.
Wii. This is the guy
Yeah,
that had the Wii that entire generation, and then
that
I
was my
jumped
first
to the
one.
Wii U, and I'm still behind. And like I told you, I played it Metal Gear Solid 5, and I was praising, oh my god, this game looks good, and you're like, yeah, it came out in 2015.
Yeah, you don't know. But you could do. It depends because you're not Mr. Shooter that much. So
Yeah, that's
that's
kind of my
that's what a lot of my
thing.
that was a lot of my 360 games. games because it's Rainbow Six Vegas, Rainbow Six
Yeah,
Vegas 2.
I
I
looked
have
on
the
eBay.
gears. I never played them.
I was
Yeah.
looking on eBay for like, hey, just some some dude that's cleaning out his, I don't know, his parents died and he's cleaning out his closet or something like that. He finds his old games or something. It's like, oh, here's my Xbox games. Here's 20 for $50 or something, and it's Call of Duty 1, Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty
I
Modern
mean,
Warfare, Modern Warfare.
you could go with the Halos if you never played it, but you could just get Game Pass. That's a
And
Doug plug right there.
yeah, Master
Um,
Collection. You know, I think the servers are still working for a lot of those 360 games too. So
yeah, Microsoft's pretty fair on it. I mean, what was it? Andrew sent us a snapshot of what he had. It was basically just his NCAA love.
yeah,
You know,
NCAA 14. He's
because I
got.
can't say there's great platformers. I remember 360 because my 360 was my shooter days,
I'll buy
and then my
Banjo
Wii was
Kazooie.
my platforms. Yeah, my Wii was my Wii was my straight up Nintendo challenge puzzles
You know,
platformers, and my PS3 was the
yeah,
happy medium.
yeah, yeah. That's true. Yeah, PS3. Yeah, PS3 started like sucky, and then like 2 years in, they just completely were starting to kill it.
I honestly didn't get it until the final like 2 years of its lifespan. I got to play catch up to everything, and it was great.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it was just back then it was just overpriced. There was high things I didn't want to pay for.
that's probably my next project. I'll probably. I'll do that. I'll look for nice single player Xbox games, which I guess might be a hard task to do, but I think that's probably my next. Like if I start collecting for it just to start it out and then save it for. And luckily I got a 360. It's the white, like the original white one, but not the red
Red
ring
ring one.
version. So
Yeah, I've been
that's
red
good.
ringed. It is not fun,
Yeah, I ain't
but
doing
that's why
that.
you get the Walmart insurance, and it's beneficial.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm doing that. So I'll probably start looking for games for that. But oh well. Okay. Speaking of OLEDs, because apparently I don't think I've ever seen one in person. Maybe I have, and I just haven't really noticed it at the store, like at a Target or something like that. But Nintendo, new Switch. Yeah, I'm underwhelmed as you are.
You know what? We should have known better, though. We literally should have known better. Why are we? This is the 3DS and then the 2DS, and we should have known. We
Yeah, I know.
literally should have known. Because the whole thing when they made the light was the prototype for this. It really was, and we knew they were going to do 4K rendering. Because why? Because here's an honest truth. The way they make their games, if you have a standard 4K, it's going to look pretty in 1080p anyway. They're saying we're not looking at the difference that comes
That's
into it.
true.
We're not going to cycle. And let's be fair, because if you have something that has that high input, that's what the resolution, the scaling does anyway. And they're not in the industry to give you the max amount of performance hardware. They're in the industry to give you mid,
Whatever gets them enough to do what they want to do.
yeah, mid performance with ingenuity, and
Yeah,
then games that you're going to buy and pay.
and cheap parts,
Yeah, and the
essentially.
only thing they failed at really in this whole scheme of things was the Wii U and the GameCube a little bit, but the GameCube was just more the transition. But then look what they did with the Wii. They
Yeah,
just killed it because they said we'll just give you 480. We're a generation behind, but we'll give you 480p, which is the
and
reason why I didn't play
yeah,
Skyward Sword. But
480p
I
with a
loved
motion
every
control.
game.
Yeah,
I loved every game that came on the Wii. GameCube was a little bit pricey for me. I had it, but the games were pricey and you're cheap. And I remember that. Let's date ourselves a little bit. Kids, you are complaining about internal hard drives in your PS5s, PS4s, Xbox Ones, Xbox Series X's, and how they're small. We had to buy memory cards
yep,
to play a damn game, and
yep,
they were expensive.
and
I remember
multiple.
playing
Yes.
Metroid Prime, and I would try to marathon as much as I could because I had to wait a month to get a memory card for
Yeah.
$30.
Parents, yeah, a lot of parents didn't get the concept that the
Just didn't have the
disc or the
cash
system didn't save the game.
because they were used to what? Our Segas.
Yeah, or Super
Because the Segas were
Nintendos,
shorter
or heck,
games.
even the N64, right? So,
Yeah.
like my Sega Saturn had the Sega Saturn had internal memory. A lot of people
Yep.
don't know that. A lot of Sega Saturn had its own internal memory so that you could save games. Heck, if Sega had actually marketed themselves good, they probably could have done well. Hey, look, you don't have to buy. I mean, they sold memory cards, but like you didn't have to buy them. It already came with one. It was already built in, and
Problem
so
with that was also just it depends on Sonic, and who
and well,
knows?
and they don't, and lo and behold, they don't release an original Sonic game until Sonic R at the end of its lifespan. So
Yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of things about Sega, but still, yeah, the God, yeah, man, that was the generation. That was yeah, and the game, yeah, the memory cards were like so tiny. I think the GameCube had like I don't know what
512
59.
MBs.
Yeah, I don't know, something very tiny, just something. If you bought a sports video game,
Done,
yeah, you're done.
done.
Yep, yep. Hey, you want to save your creative players and all your creative teams? You better buy a dedicated memory card for that one game. Make sure you're make sure you've saved enough money from Christmas and your birthday. Oh man.
I love being
Hey,
31.
look, it's
I
Johnny
love being an
Damon.
adult. Oh, I hate Johnny Damon. I love the fact that I can buy things. LED back to it. Like, I think it's cool if I never wanted to buy a Switch and I had it because I have seen it. I don't know if they have the color palette for a screen because I don't really play my Switch handheld that much. I wouldn't trust a child with an OLED screen because if that cracks, the replacement's going to be higher
Yep.
in price. But it's a niche thing. Like, let's say it's not expensive though. Let's be fair. $349 compared to a typical 300 that you're doing. If I'm
Yeah,
getting a
you're
good buy-in trade-in rate with my Switch and I only have to pay about $50 for it, maybe you pull that deal. But at the end of the day, I always say I want games more than I want hardware capability, and I'm going to give you the point of example. Xbox still has that issue. I still, yes, you have Game Pass. Cool.
Yep.
Yes, you basically bought up Bethesda. I only play
Yep.
a fraction of their games anywhere, so it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
But if you have no first party games, I don't want it. That was the Wii U issue. Like what, 5 games in total that weren't ports?
Well, the Wii U was basically just Nintendo doing their thing. That was it. And yeah, they did there were some good games. Yeah, the Wii U was what? Splatoon, they had
We
Smash,
love
you had
Splatoon.
Mario Kart, Mario 3D World, Star Fox. but
That's all I wanted.
but
That's the thing
you could
you
tell
for
like
me.
no like they're not risk there's no dedicated Pokemon game. Yeah, yeah, you knew it was done. You knew it was done right
Hmm.
there because like Nintendo will put Pokemon on anything, and they're not putting it on the Switch or on the Wii U. Sorry, yeah, you knew it was done. Like yeah, you know you're gonna get Mario and you're gonna get a Smash and a Mario Kart,
No, they
but
gave us Pokemon. They gave us Pokken Tournament.
yeah.
And you're like, fool, I would rather have taken a
But I'm
remake of
saying like they didn't give
Pokemon.
you like a dedicated like, hey,
Straight
here's a
up.
Pokemon game where you can play in the same structure as the handheld games, right? Like the Wii had Battle Revolution. That was basically like you connect your DS games to that and boom, play them on 3D and on the screen. Or they had Coliseum and XD on the GameCube or Stadium on the N64, right? But
Stadium, I would have taken a remake of that. That's fun.
yeah, well, essentially, I mean, don't really need it anymore now, but whatever. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, Wii U was just kind of woof, was a woof with regards to some of the stuff that they did. But yeah, the Switch right now, I'm fine with it. I am. It's great. It does what it
Playing
does,
it right now as we speak.
and I just I don't see a reason to upgrade, to be honest, because I'm like, yeah, OLED screen, that's fine and all. And yeah, my Switch is a bit beat up. Joy Cons have drifted, and I haven't
Buddy.
bothered to go and and send them in to get fixed. So they're not drifting that badly on me. But
But it's not geared to you.
e-
It's not geared to me. It's geared toward the people who
who
were stuck
don't
with the
yeah,
PS5,
and
the
don't
people
have it
with the
yet.
Xbox One.
Right? They
They're
don't
like,
have it
hey,
yet.
OLED. And to be honest, here's the smart logic of them. If you have to really look into a business standpoint, those 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 consoles that you're spending $600 for plus because it's all going to come in bundles really only come to life in full capacity if you have an OLED TV. Plain and
Yeah.
simple. The maximum capacity, and they're saying, hey, we're going to include that on our screen for our handheld, and it's going to be at its finest.
Yeah.
We're going to help you. And fight me on that logic because you can still dock it on your TV, but there's games that would fit if you're doing handheld. I don't have personal preferences, but yeah, I would play Breath of the Wild on OLED, even though it can't generate. But you guys have to think back to my logic. It's going to give you maximum input of that capacity anyway with the screen, because if not, Nintendo would have added it in there. They don't add stuff without logic or
Yeah.
rhyme or reason.
So basically, they've like if you already have an OLED screen, like OLED TV, then okay, hey, now you're not downgrading the experience of the view on the go, right? You're gonna get the same picture quality, or at least with the same type of screen. I think it'll still do the same thing the Switch does when it goes into handheld mode with the games that are a little less performance. I
Well,
think,
yeah,
and
that's
that probably was,
performance based.
yeah, I think that was probably like their thinking too, with like development, like because that if you tell developers, yeah, we're gonna have a Switch and it'll be like the PS4 Pro or the Xbox Series X or whatever, or no, or Xbox One X, whatever they call it. So now you gotta develop your games, one, to make sure it works in handheld mode, two, make sure it works in dock mode on a regular Switch, and three, make sure it works in dock mode on a Switch Pro with a more beefed up whatever inside of it. And it's like
Well,
that's
here's the
so
thing
much
about OLED
work.
for you guys to kind of understand for me, because I've been scouting it hardcore, so I feel like I could advise on it. It's also just about refresh rate.
Yeah.
Your typical TV, a lot of you kids who go
Mm-hmm.
and you buy your 4K televisions, your thing is highest capacity, at a refresh rate of 60 FPS, it's nothing. It's not going to help you with those high-end capacity games that have the stuttering and things going on in the background. It's really when you want to look at that motion rate, refresh rate, 120 OLEDs typically on
Mm-hmm.
those kind of screens and how they're built in, it usually handle it. So I don't know if that's the mechanics of what they could do with general output, but they have to have a refresh rate based in the screen as the projection. So
Yeah.
are you? And even though games like Breath of the Wild, which we love, there was times where it stuttered because there was too much going on. That part of its performance, part of it's just capability of the television too. So what if it's that
Yeah.
logic? To
If
which I'm
you're
like,
if you're serious about like either competitive gaming or just getting the
and Switch
most
has a lot of competitive gaming.
or just getting the most output out of your big giant investment into a game console or something or a gaming PC, you probably need the screen like that, man. You probably do, because I've seen them now. They have the monitors that do 144 frames per second or whatever, and
Yeah.
apparently, and I've never been able to see that, but apparently people who have, like, it's a game changer for a lot of people.
My buddy has an OLED from LG, and we were just watching like the Godzilla movie, and I was like, holy crap, I noticed it. And then we played a little bit of his PS5. I'm like, I felt it,
Mm,
you know. So it's like, yeah, and that's why I'm like, I don't want to spend $1,100 on television. That's why I hustle, because me, I don't pay full price for nothing.
mm.
But you wait till it's on sale, and then I have my credit card rewards. That my best. I messed up, man. I asked Best Buy to give me a credit increase because I didn't ask for it for like 7 years because my max was like 1,500. I only owe like $30 on it. Really, I owe like $5 on it now because I did my monthly payment. And they took all of 2 minutes to be put in the income, put in the. And I was stupid. I asked them just for a $1,500 bump. I should have just asked for five. They gave it to me in 2 minutes. I'm like, oh, now I have like 3G or
Damn.
3K just chilling. Like, whew, because that TV is now a stronger
Mm.
possibility. I'm looking at myself like, do I want a PS5 first or do I want an OLED? If both were available, I think I gotta go with that OLED. I like my TV that I have. It's a standard 1080p because I got it 5, 6 years ago because LG makes good products. That's why I'll get the LG OLED. Because here's the thing you gotta know about LGs. I guess because this is what happens. Andrew's not here. We talk about the walks of life. Sony uses LG's OLED stuff. They just put the Sony sound in there and then their software. So really save yourself the $300-400 and just get the LG stuff. They're sustainable. They're beautiful in picture and quality.
Mm.
Might not have the strongest sound capacity because I've had a Bravia in the past because I'm a nerd for this stuff. Um, but do you want better audios or visuals, especially in today's day and age where you can just pop in your own headphones and play hear
Yeah.
through
Or
there?
you get a sound bar.
Sometimes it
Yeah.
might be there, or you get a soundbar. But yeah, so Nintendo could do what they want. Just
Yeah.
give
Well.
me Star Fox. Just give me Star Fox.
All right. So I in the background, I guess the hockey game kept crapping out on me, so I switched it to World Series baseball too. I got the Royals versus the Reds on here, just for the meme,
Let's do a
drive
little
into deep left
baseball.
field. Oh well,
Let's do a little
actually,
baseball. Tell me.
I wanted to talk about because we're about 6 minutes away from the cage normally. So,
Yeah.
the ESPN stuff, baby.
Oh, forgot about
Cause
that.
man, I mean, so many twists and turns. Jimmy Butler, my man crush Monday every day, somehow found his way into this as well.
The memes are fantastic for him. And full
Oh
disclosure,
man,
we do not believe anything that is stated on the Twitter that came out of nowhere in
no.
regards to certain individuals. We do this because we part of us is like if you know the Muppets, we're Walter and Sladoff, or you two
Mm-hmm.
old men
Yep.
laughing at fate.
Oh,
Yeah, this stuff is ridiculous. The
it's
internet is
great.
savage.
Yes, it is.
Savage.
Oh my god. Oh man, just the images that have popped out. Oh, and the memes and the tweets about Jimmy Butler and Rachel Nichols, and then Maria Taylor, and then that other chick. I guess.
Malika Andrews.
Yeah, there we go. As well, she's like now the sideline reporter during the NBA
Mhm.
Finals. Like it is all over the place, just because I guess somebody had it out for her, for Rachel Nichols,
Well,
silently recording her.
yeah, right. And you heard the audio, right?
Yeah, I did.
I get it. I get it.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
do I think it's wrong? Sure, but you got to eat, man, in
yeah.
that sense. And it
They
wasn't
took my
disparaging.
gerb.
Yeah, it wasn't anything like the last time we had an NBA association figurehead being recorded without knowing. Looking
Mm.
at you, former Clippers owner, whose name I forgot, but
Donald Sterling.
always
There
like
you go.
that. Donald Sterling, thank you. It was basically, Rachel had a struggle, man, to get where she is, and then ESPN want to put Rachel on the sideline because they didn't want Maria Taylor to kind of be the host into it, and so it was a political warfare. And then you get different opinions. You get it, I've read it as a race on race thing. I've read it as a woman against woman thing. I've just read it as like, why can't you just take the acceptance to go from there? And
Yeah.
we're attorneys, so I think I can understand a little bit because I got to eat too. I'm not in private practice, but sometimes it's the private practice mentality of where you kind of earn you keep what you kill essentially. I mean, I know it
Mm-hmm.
sounds very cutthroat, but man, she got punished hardcore. They didn't even make a statement on it. They just feel it's invested in Rita and Malik Andrews. And what did I say to you? I'm like, why can't we just have all of them? It's like that little meme of Porque no dos, that sense.
Yeah.
And that's the
I
best
mean,
franchise.
does ESPN want to be that progressive?
I would because
I,
what
I mean,
I would rather
I
have all
honestly,
that than Mark
I
Jackson
just,
and
oh well,
Van Gundy.
yeah, of course, yeah, yeah. We all want Doris Burke all day, every day. We do.
Doris is passionate.
Yeah, it'd be nice. But I mean, sheesh. Yeah, yeah. But I think it's just I don't know who. I don't know who run. I don't know what ESPN's top brass is. I have no idea. All right. Anybody who's and I keep seeing the tweets about oh man ESPN used to be good back in the day and all stuff like it's over kids. It's over. And they're
It's
not
been
we're
over
not kids
10
anymore by the
years.
way, okay? Your back hurts, my back hurts. All right, we ain't kids no more. They're gone. Stuart Scott is dead, okay? It's got morbid.
Yeah, we could say it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's been dead. He's dead. He's gone. All right, we're not getting that back. It ain't happening no more. It ain't a news show anymore. All right, we got memes, we got TMZ style reporting, and
We got gotcha news.
yeah, exactly. And we got talking heads with the hot takes. That's what it is. All right. If you don't want to if you don't want to consume that, you don't have to anymore. This is why Sports Goofs exists.
That's why
Honestly,
Twitter exists too.
it's honestly why I made this because I was sick of it myself. It's honestly why I found SB Nation when they were little, and their Florida Panthers hockey coverage because ESPN sure as hell wasn't going to cover hockey. All right, I wasn't going to find it there. I wasn't going to find it in the local sports media much either. So I found it there, and lo and behold, it gave me an opportunity to actually cover NHL games, which is amazing. And look what's happened now. I mean, you got Barstool Sports. You can think what you will of it. Some people might be fans, some people might not be, but that doesn't happen without the way the internet is right now. That doesn't happen. You don't get John Boy Media, this guy who's just riffing on baseball games and replays, and reading lips of footage on these funny plays or significant plays, and now he's got his own media network, and with legitimate. I think Chris Rose is on there. He's got Major League Baseball players on there. Like so that's happened too. So we don't really need ESPN as much as you want anymore. Just do it like I do. If you really don't like, if you're really upset about it, upset about all this whatever, and you don't care about this progressiveness and they took my job and all that stuff, and if you're like that and you want the old days back, you don't need to be
Watch
there
Fox
anymore.
News
You can do that too.
or not
I
Fox
remember.
FS1,
I mean,
Fox
hey,
Sports.
yeah, Fox Sports. Yeah, you can go watch Skip Bayless on Fox Sports if you want to. Oh God, uh, no, you can go find a bunch of stuff, and I've recommended a bunch of stuff too. There's a lot of baseball YouTubers I follow. Baseball doesn't exist. Fantastic one. I recommended that last week. Jolly Olive, he's another good one. Foolish Bits, another great baseball channel. Uh,
So this is going to be a question I'm going to pose, and I think we can really kind of pick at this for a second. What is the purpose of watching ESPN now, aside from
there's
anything that's
none.
actually sports?
Yeah,
If it has sports, that's fine.
unless they have an exclusive game that you can't watch anywhere else, there's no point in watching it. You don't have to watch SportsCenter. SportsCenter used to be because your local TV station wasn't going to cover every game that was going on in the country or whatever. They were just going to cover, like, if you're in New York, okay, you're going to see the Yankees and the Mets and the Rangers and the Jets and whatever, right?
Not getting a national broadcast,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think in today's modern day stuff, the only thing that you I can maybe get behind is if you're a fantasy person and you want to spend that whole thing, but you could easily just read it.
Yeah.
Take instead of 30 minutes, you read it in five.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
You know, you go on Adam Rank's little pick these guys for NFL Network and then ESPN who they would go, and that's that. I don't think you need it because one, every panelist analyst is unlikable. Even and when I say unlikable, I'm not saying it as a harsh word. I'm not. There's something that are fine.
Right.
But you know what I'm talking about. First Take is unwatchable to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Max Kellerman is, I feel, just Stephen A. Smith's punching bag, and I can get flack for that, but it's really what it felt like. Because Skip was a tool, but Skip wasn't his punching bag.
Right.
It feels like Max is really out of his limit there. Inside the NBA or whatever, not that, what was it? The Jump in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not waking up that morning to watch Godlick and the other guy, and they had a breakup, Greeny and
Yeah. Yeah. Mike Greenberg
broke up.
and Golick.
They wanted to be like the next Mad Dog and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's an oversaturation, and you are 24/7 sports, but yet you only focus on two sports. You don't
Yeah.
even focus on baseball, to be frank with you.
Yep.
Um,
No, it's the
it's
NBA and NFL. That's
basketball
it.
and football. Yeah, so it's like it's lame, it's easy, and I don't think outside the lines used to be good because outside the lines was their kind of like front line, I
Yeah, it was
guess.
like yeah, 60 minutes or
Investigative
whatever. Yeah.
journalism. But then what happens is the topics became too real or they got overplayed. There's only so many times you can talk about CTE or marijuana use
Yeah.
and
And you also
sports and
want to
that.
appease your NFL overlords to keep that exclusive deal for Monday Night Football and stuff like that. You want that.
Yeah.
Like
And the,
we can't say that ESPN isn't driven completely by that because they
and
are.
not just that, but I'm gonna put onto there. There's some stuff that really, and I would call it like a gym show before I got into the audiobooks and stuff like that. I listened there before I didn't have headphones when I used to work out at LA Fitness 6 7 years ago. You would have the workout shows such as Around the Horn, but Around the Horn actually is the most useless show to watch because it's like whose line is it anyway?
Yeah.
Because there's really no points to make. It's just reality just assigning points to who he thinks right, and there's obvious favoritism because it plays to humor and comedy. And I don't know
Hmm.
if I need that sports if it's not a former player. So it's whatever, man.
Yeah.
And the reason why, and this is why I couldn't even get ESPN Plus. This is the reason why I don't have Disney and Hulu combined because you couldn't make me pay 11 and just use ESPN free because I don't care about the 30 for 30 documentaries. Some of them are okay, but after some time they're going to put it on ESPN anyway. Like I was watching the Joey Chestnut Kobayashi
Mm.
um, 30 for 30 when I was on the treadmill the other
Yeah.
day because it's been out for a bit. So I'm like, all right, what's the purpose? If they actually focus on certain things like boxing, I like boxing, I like exactly. Right now,
Yeah, you're not
basketball
gonna
is
watch a 30 for
very
30 for a sport that you don't give a crap about.
yeah. But if you actually put on more live content, or listen, man, maybe ESPN look at a state level and just kind of get those licensing rights for like high school sports stuff like that. Maybe that's how you fix out ESPN Plus because people watch it. I think people watch anything
Yeah,
if they're in love with it.
they have their whatever. You have affiliates and local stations, like the radio stations, like West Palm Beach, ESPN West Palm. They got that, and that's where they broadcast like the high school games and all that crap. But even then, they have competitors for like there's a bunch of online companies that are basically broadcasting that too. Heck, you can watch minor league baseball now, and on all these other different networks and stuff like that.
But you could watch the NBA finals on YouTube. That's how they sucked out on ESPN. And who
Yeah.
owns ESPN? The Mouse. What does Mouse own? ABC. They
Mm-hmm.
don't care as much about ESPN as you want, and they're as a subsidiary, they're not going to invest too much into it because they're the national sports broadcast. Sure, CBS, Fox, they're just kind of there for whatever licensing rights, and that's why they employ for game days. But since you're the only one, you know who's going to be loyal to who's not, and it's going to be the prior generation, the
Yeah.
boomers, everything like that. It ain't going to be us. I haven't,
Yeah,
dude.
but
I
as they
haven't
become more
counting.
as they are pushing for the more progressive stuff, you're also shooing away a lot of the boomers and stuff. I'm just saying. I'm just
Well,
saying. And and like ESPN is like not. It doesn't appeal to me. It really doesn't. And I noticed. I don't know when you started noticing. Like, man,
I
ESPN is
stopped watching
garbage.
it. I stopped watching it like for reals. Like the year before I started law school, or half a year
Okay.
before I started law school, and that was about the window where everything kind of went.
Yeah.
Because
I
I just don't like to waste my time. And I
yeah
feel like ESPN's a waste of my time.
yeah. I started to notice that. I think year two of LeBron Bosch Wade.
Oh, but that was also just pure hatred, man. Because no one could be like just objectively acknowledging too. That was a shit show.
Yeah, that was, but that was awful. Like I couldn't like stomach it after a bit. Like I know, and yeah, it's I had the bias with the Miami Heat, but then I was like thinking about like, man, ESPN is garbage right now. I'm like, God, I don't know when Stuart Scott died. I think he was dead by that point. And I was like, also like what? Wait, ESPN had some dude standing outside of Brett Favre's backyard
Yep.
in Mississippi
Yep.
for like a month waiting for him to like unretire and re-sign with somebody. I'm like,
And side note, we like Scott Van Pelt,
yeah.
but SVP is like an OG. But of course, you give him the 12 o'clock shift, so it's not even the good shift.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when nobody else is watching and those so uh, I'm like they did that and I'm like I remember like when Barry Bonds was chasing 756 and they had Sal Palantonio, who actually he died, I think this year.
Sal's not dead, is no.
Yes, he's dead. Look it
No,
up.
Sal's alive.
Sal's alive. Who am I
Yeah, I
thinking
know who
of?
you're. I know who
Oh
you're
no! Oh
thinking
no!
of.
It was Pedro Gomez, right?
I'm gonna put ESPN guy who died, but
Yes, there,
don't
ESPN guy who died.
Google.
It
It's the
was
second thing after that. Yeah, Pedro Gomez.
there. We go. Okay, Pedro. Yeah, no, was
Yeah,
it Sao Paulo? No, then it must have been
he
Pedro Gomez.
held up, dude,
I,
because I
I
was
I
like, wait a
messed up
second.
my ESPN Latino reporters. I'm
And
sorry.
yeah, my God, man, because
But
it was
either
only once.
way, I think they had him chasing Barry Bonds the entire way because that was like Barry Bonds was like the villain and all that stuff, and oh, you had the mistress, and like I remember I'm like, holy shit, they did that too, and that was like when it was starting. That's when they first started with like whatever, and they had like the cold pizza, which is where First Take came from, all that stuff. That was weird how that spun off. But yeah, no, there's no reason to watch ESPN full time anymore. There's no reason to get into that drama. There's no reason to watch the NBA pregame show for the NBA finals. Why would you do that? There's no point. No point in
You have
watching it.
every reason to watch inside the NBA on TNT though.
Oh yes. You see, that's different. Like I don't know what Turner Sports is doing, but they are putting it together. They've got some good panelists for NBA and their baseball coverage. I can't wait to see what they do for hockey. I really can't. I
They're
really
gonna
want
put
to see what they
relevant.
do because that's gonna be fun. That
They're
that
gonna
should
put
be
relevant
interesting.
players.
I mean, they got
And
Wayne
that
Gretzky already. That's one. I don't know
He's
how he's going to
right.
be on TV. Honestly, to be honest.
People are just gonna want to hear it. You
Yeah.
want that kind of guy. It's the same reason why for inside the NBA you want Chuck, and you want. I don't know if I want Shaq was just gifted, but
If
Chuck.
Wayne Gretzky honestly becomes like the Charles Barkley of hockey, I would be so happy. And nobody can say shit to him because he's Wayne Gretzky. That'd be so awesome.
I think that's the reason why they picked him up.
Oh, nobody could say anything to him. Like Shaq, you got Shaq, and Shaq. I guess if you were to like make a hierarchy of like the playing career and stuff, you probably put Shaq above everybody else that's on that panel, right? Above Kenny and Chuck.
Ooh,
Kenny got a ring,
actually,
or got two rings with the Rockets and stuff like that. But of course, Charles Barkley's a Hall of Famer
yeah,
and
this
stuff like
might be a
that.
hard debate, but on the full presence of whom I want to listen to, I think Chuck played in the better era.
Oh yeah, oh, of
That, that,
course.
that's why I shifted a little bit. I mean, granted, he never got a ring, but he got there. But I mean,
It's
this is
just the
not
buzz
diminishing
saw of
Shaq at
Michael
all.
Jordan. I don't blame anybody who didn't get a ring during the '90s because of the
Yeah.
buzz saw of Michael Jordan.
Unlike no, accordingly, it's the man named Scottie Pippen. Apparently, he was the reason why they won six damn rings.
Oh yeah, of course. It was all Scotty. Jordan didn't win nothing without Scotty, right?
But everybody, if you're not gonna watch ESPN, you know what you should do? Listen to Sports Goofs.
Yeah,
Listen on our podcast. Follow us on our Twitter.
yeah,
All
yeah.
this other fun stuff that comes into it when we have
Right?
weird segments like this. And we
Yeah.
didn't settle the empanada debate.
To
But you know
anybody,
what? Keep them
yeah.
hanging.
Oh, by the way, it's nothing after one between the Lightning and the Habs.
Maybe the Habs needed us. Maybe they needed us.
Maybe, yeah, here we
The
come
only
on,
Americans
come
rooting for
on,
them.
Montreal. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's
let's do
do
it.
it.
Let's do it.
Let's see what.
Montreal? We're gonna call you Montreal
Oh
because
yeah.
you're great and you're sweet.
Yeah.
I like
I'm
Tampa.
so freaking.
And we should hate Tampa. Why we hate Tampa? We took the bar exam there. That's why we
Oh, of
hate Tampa.
course. Yeah, the river's
For the
stinky.
people who
Like the
don't know
river
the
did
team,
smell. If there was one thing that they said that about that area, yeah, the river did smell. It
pretty
was
sure everybody
awful.
was walking over, a homeless person in Tampa because of rude like that
Yeah.
when we were trying to get back to our hotels.
Yeah. Make sure you don't step on the heroin needles. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all.
exactly.
Let's
Little
see
kid trying to take me into the corner to shoot me? No, no thank
the
you.
score run down. Brewers are up 3-0 on the Mets. Brewers are hot. They're hot right now. They are just killing it in that Central Division. Dodgers are up 5-4 over the Marlins here. Blue Jays up 9-1 over Baltimore. Man, Orioles are awful. I gotta go over the tank battle next episode between the Orioles and the Diamondbacks. It is good, man. These teams are really bad, and it is fun. It is fun to watch. I love me some terrible teams. I'll tell you that much. The Cubs are up 3-0 on the Phillies. The A's are up 1-0 on the Astros, and then a bunch of late games. Oh, a bunch of games happened early today. Of course, the Rays had their no hitter.
But
And
not acknowledged as a no hitter.
yeah, but the double header sweep of the Indians. Braves are up 14-3, or they won 14-3 over the Pirates. White Sox 6-1 over the Twins. Tigers 5-3. Tigers are actually been like one of the hottest teams in baseball since May. Nobody knows that, but they have been. AJ Hinch, Charles, he might actually be good at managing. He might actually be good at managing. He might be redeeming himself.
Or he's found a new way. I'm just saying, what if he taught everybody,
Yeah.
he bought them future technology?
Yeah, maybe or maybe those two giant tigers on the scoreboard. Maybe they like flash or something for a certain. I have no idea.
I mean, if you're gonna slow the game for checking people for sticky substance, side note, both Aroldis Chapman and Cole are definitely using, but it's okay. I don't care. I'm fine. You might as well just check every AJ Hinch player known to mankind that's on his team.
Yeah. Reds winning 5-2 over the Royals. I don't know if Castellanos hit one to deep left field
I
today,
do not
but
know the batting average was 335 because I don't follow the Reds, so I know the funny
he made
stuff.
the All-Star team, man.
You think, dude?
The Reds have
Mike
two
Trout-
guys.
Mike Trout made
You
the
know what
All-Star
surprises
team, and he
me?
hasn't played since May.
The All-Star game rosters came out. There were two guys from the Cincinnati Reds on there. One guy from the Pirates is starting. How did this happen? I swear, I thought the Los Angeles Dodgers would basically start the
The
game.
entire bit.
Yeah, like that's what I thought it was going to be, but apparently not. So good on baseball fans.
Maybe.
Yay. Maybe they're maybe yeah, maybe it's happening. Maybe we're getting this education and stuff like that.
Aaron Judge got in, surprisingly.
Yeah, it's probably the one New York, I guess, like the one thing where I'm like, okay,
It makes
yeah,
sense.
Yankees fans voted him in. Okay, that's fine. That's enough.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
he's doing fine,
yeah,
but I would venture Giancarlo actually should have been there. Yeah, that's my hot
yeah.
take.
He's finally got
Know,
more
the
home
beginning of
runs.
the season, you and I've talked about it.
Yeah, well, he's
More home runs since 2017.
yeah, exactly. He's finally surpassed his totals from that time. So there you go, getting their money's worth for once. And yeah, that's okay. So that's what went down in baseball, all that stuff. And we're gonna go into the cage, because McDonald's is sponsoring this transition right now. So let's do it, Charles.
Welcome, everybody, your weekly Trueplex of Cage with Charles. Now, full reminder and full disclaimer: wrestling is not fake; it is scripted. It's a stage fight. It's a battle of the souls, of the wills, of the wants, of the everything of men and women chasing championships, being the holy hell of each other. It's a soap opera. It's poetry in motion. It is sometimes sweet deliciousness, just like McDonald's new BTS burger, which we have yet to have, or their spicy chicken sandwich. I promise you, McDonald's, it's gonna happen one day. I promise. If you have a sponsor by next week, I guarantee you I will do it, because you know what's going to happen is I'll try it when they don't sponsor us anymore. It's about everything that you want to be in wrestling, and sometimes in wrestling, you can't go all show, all go. You have to slow it up a little bit. You have to let the story kind of percolate, like a little bit of coffee, not regulate. Like, the old great gangsta songs of the 90s. Because, of course, now when I put it on the spot, I forgot everybody except Nate Dogg got to regulate. But it's a special week. It's a special week for wrestling. I don't know how I want to break this down, because we're doing it on a Wednesday, my dudes and gals. Wednesday is usually reserved for AEW Dynamite. I'm kind of seeing it right now. They have Road Rager, which is going on, which is kind of like their in between, like semi pay per view but not pay per view match that's going on. So we're going to lead to it. We're doing live coverage as we speak using Wrestling Inc. I'll give them a shout out. I always look at their stuff. But we have, I believe, maybe their main event going on: AEW World Tag Team Championship Street Fight. The Young Bucks going against Eddie Kingston and Penta El Zero Miedo. I think I butchered that because they changed the stuff so much, because it used to be Penta to me. But it's weird with their storylines going on, because the Young Bucks are full blown heels. They're obnoxious. You want to punch them in the face. Let's do some wrestling terminology back as a refresher from our big educational course from a year and a half ago. A babyface, good guy. Heel, bad guy. You have myriad of variations of a heel. One of them is just a chicken shit heel, which is not really the Young Bucks, but they're getting interference from Brandon Cutler half the time, so maybe it counts. But also just a I want to punch you in the face, go home heat kind of heel. That's kind of what they're doing now. They got Dior shoes, different. They grew out the facial hair. Something says bad guy like facial hair. They got different kind of personas. It's very flamboyant and flashy. Everybody can kind of get behind that there. Eddie Kingston, once again, challenging for that title. Last time he was challenging at the pay-per-view with Jon Moxley as a teammate. John was, quote unquote, beat up real badly, so he's teamed up with Penta, who he used to manage, because Penta's brother Ray, part of the Lucha Bros, is injured, so they're making it work. It's going to be a street fight. Interesting what's going on here. What I'm seeing on the match card right now: Cody Rhodes, Arn Anderson versus QT Marshall, and his group, because it's Nightmare Factory, because there's like 20 factions in AEW, and that's kind of why I get annoyed with it. You don't need that many factions. Factions being a group of more than two people, obviously. Why are they doing this? There's going to be a trio style. What's a trio style, Charles? Tag team match, 3 people on each side. There you go. Saved you simplicity of it. I know that's on the match card. There's a few other things on the match card there going on, but the big storyline that I would say to focus on, aside from Inner Circle versus Pinnacle, which is kind of losing its steam a little bit for me, because they've already had 2 big matches. They had Blood and Guts, which led to the Chris Jericho bad fall, and then they had the Stadium Stampede, to which the Inner Circle won. So I don't know what the big thing is that you can do to kind of fully cap it off, but I'm sure they'll figure it out. But they just have to kind of do something that is unique more to Spring Stampede as opposed to Blood and Guts, because Blood and Guts it's basically War Games from WCW days, which is also adapted now to NXT. We'll get to that in a second. So you got to kind of get your own thing going into it. Oh, they're having Andrade versus Matt Sydal going on. That should be interesting. Andrade used to be La Sombra in New Japan, also Andrade in WWE when he was NXT, but now he's Andrade El Idolo over in. Look at my Spanish is perfect today, Francisco. I love it. Going on there. So hopefully he's got some big stuff going on. I don't know where he fits fully into their card in their picture. I don't know if they're going to put him in the main event portion. I don't know if they could put a mid card. We shall see. But right now, what's my focus? What's my in between? the burgeoning war of Kenny Omega, who now grew out the facial hair, looking like a Harley race, as he says. Kenny, follow us on Twitter. Charles the True, Sports Goofs, all the other shout outs. Tony Khan, you can do too. Cody, you can do too. We haven't given you guys some shout outs in a while because it's been kind of quiet for me. Saying, I've beaten everybody. I'm going to take some time off. I'm a collector of titles. And then comes the Dark Order. Now remember, part of the best storylines for AEW for me was them trying to romance out Adam Hangman Page, who's their bra now. He won't join the Dark Order, but he's their bra. It's kind of like, he's your man, but not your man kind of thing. He's with you, though. He's the bodyguard. They called out Hangman for him on his behalf. They're like, hey, Kenny, you get Hangman. He could beat you. He do this. And there's some juicy storylines going there because Kenny and Adam Page, they were tag team partners. They were tag team champions. They couldn't, go from there. Hangman couldn't deal with the breakup when they lost the titles. They were like, oh, let's try again. And he was like, no, I'm gonna be my solo guy. And then Kenny won the number one contender match that they had, which was an okay match. It was only like 13 minutes. I felt like it should be longer. Then he won the title, and it's all building up to their next pay-per-view. But I think it's gonna happen. I'm about that. I can get with that. That's a good storyline that we're working it. It makes Charles very having his own Road Rager, kids, going on there. And then you see Chris Jericho, Le Champion, in the background. I don't know what's going on there, but it's in between. Still continuous with the Pinnacle versus them in the Inner Circle. But that's like a little
Wait,
bit
are
of
they in
focus.
Miami?
Yeah, they're coming to Miami. They're back on tour, dude. Both
Oh,
WWE and AEW.
okay.
I
So
was
they're here right
expecting
now.
money to it.
This
They're
is
here right
happening
now,
at-
man.
Oh,
Ahora.
like American Airlines Arena, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, because they say BB&T
But
Center. Sometimes they just call it Miami, anyways. But yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
but I think they're going into it because they left Daly's place. They're back on the road. I think that's going to help them.
Okay.
Because remember, right now that they're on their own with the solo ratings on Wednesday, because NXT's on Tuesdays, so it's going to bring in between. That guy is geeking out really, really hard, going on there. That guy's hair is interesting. So that's AEW. Impact, we'll skip it. Let's talk about it next time. New Japan, not yet. Coming soon, not there. Give it some time coming into it. Ring of Honor, they're doing their Women of Honor tournament. They're going to develop. MLW is hiring people to do their own women's division. That should be interesting. MLW is Major League Wrestling. They're actually got some good wrestlers. Some of the wrestlers from AEW came from there. Let's talk about WWE. We're going to do it. NXT yesterday, usually when we do our shows, was the Great American Bash. That's kind of similar to Road Rager event that's going on. This kind of semi pay-per-view quality matches in there on your show. Just fine, but great in spurts. The matches of the night that would definitely highlight: Timothy Thatcher, Tommaso Ciampa versus MSK for the NXT Tag Championships. Loved it. Good match. Could have used about 5 more minutes into it. And with Thatcher getting rolled up for the 3 count as opposed to finishers. You gotta be careful, WWE, of how many times you want to do a surprise roll-up finish, whether it's an inside cradle or just a typical roll-up. Because if you do it like 3 times each match, and you have your match card of 7, 8, depending on your shows, it gets old. I'm not a fan of it. But if it's a way to protect Thatcher and Ciampa to either help them transition back to being heels as a tag team, or to kind of have that, the whole idea is like, you beat us, MSK, but you beat us because you were lucky. Okay, fine. But it was a good match. Ciampa's just been on a roll. His match with Walter was just fantastic. Is it match of the year for me? Maybe. It ends with a damn chop, dude. Like a literal chop. The story they told her was fantastic. But then I look at Roman and Cesaro at WrestleMania Backlash, and I really wish they had a second going. But Cesaro's already in hell now with the dead push, as I tell people. Because Vince McMahon doesn't push people. Time pushes people, not Vince McMahon. Tegan Nox came back, as you saw. She's coming back from her injuries in a match that was the wrong choice, I feel. It was the women's tag match of Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, The Way, going against Io Shirai and Zoe Stark. Zoe Stark and Io Shirai won the women's tag team championship, or the NXT women's tag team championships, because Tegan came back because she was kayfabed. She was injured in real life, and they said that Candice had hurt her. So you have a storyline there. My problem with this is that you spent months developing The Way to be a formal tag team. The women's tag team divisions on both the main roster and NXT is not necessarily bueno. That's a cool finisher by Zoe Stark. It's basically a feed off of Dominic Dijakovic's Feast Your Eyes. But you only have them successfully defend the title once, really, twice maybe, and then they lose to a team that hasn't really teamed up against each other as competitors. What does that tell about tag team wrestling? That's something that the Young Bucks always crap on Vince McMahon, but NXT is not Vince McMahon's show. It's really Triple H's show. And the fact is, the women's NXT championships, tag team championships, have basically hot potatoed in like the 3 months they've been in existence to now 4 teams. You went from Raquel and Dakota Kai being the inaugural champions, and then they lost. The same night they were awarded the titles to Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon. They defended a couple times, got it, but they defended a lot against whom? Indy Hartwell, Candice LeRae. They won, and then they lost, and I think their second title defense. So I just don't like it. Cameron Grimes, LA Knight. Here's the problem: when you try to put on a pay-per-view style match, Francisco, and there's commercials, and then picture in picture, I can't get into it. And the match looked kind of good, but I couldn't get into it. I enjoyed their ladder match that they had at NXT Takeover, but it wasn't there. They did not, surprisingly, I thought, Francisco, we were going to get Karrion Kross defending his NXT Championship against Johnny
Scary Man.
Gargano. Scary Man.
That's how I
Go from
remember
there.
it as.
Scary Man is a appropriate thing because it's relevant here. And what they're going to do is they're going to do that next week in the main event where they have other Scary Man, Samoa Joe. Welcome back, Samoa Joe. We love you. There's also Johnny Headrocker on Up, Up, Down, Down. I'm giving a shout out. Xavier Woods, follow us on Twitter, man. I'll give you love. You give us love, man. You're great. But he's going to be the special referee. So here's my concern: is that Scary Man's going to lose to Johnny Gargano, and I love me some Johnny Gargano. He's not everybody's cup of tea because he's overpushed some people, and maybe some people feel like a 6'3" monster like Karrion Kross shouldn't lose to Johnny Gargano. But the minute you put Samoa Joe, big boy, as a he's basically the Samoan Bowser if you ever look at him on the screen. He's a scary dude. I love his wrestling. As a special guest referee, there's going to be chicanery that comes involved. And the rumor mill is Bronson Reed and Karrion Kross are getting called up. They've been working some dark matches. They worked some stuff on main events. Bronson Reed just recently lost his North American Championship last week to Isaiah Swerve Scott. And then you have Karrion Kross, going to have Samoa Joe in there. Johnny drops the title, and even in their little face down, they said Kross like, there's three things that I wake up every day thinking of. I'm never gonna lose the NXT title. I'm in a main event of WrestleMania. I'm gonna win the WWE Championship. Like, oh man, now you're gonna lose the NXT Championship. So I'm not crazy about it. I love Johnny, but I thought Johnny was more formulaic. I think actually Johnny's getting called up too with his wife and maybe Indy because they just lost those NXT Tag Championships. Going to it. Granted, Dexter Lumis still bodyguarding, saving Indy is the funniest thing because it came back again because they were in a romance called Index. And they continue it. I love puns. I like romance in my wrestling. It's a soap opera. We love it. Damn it. Just look at Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth. It's beautiful. Main event, part 2. Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. They had met at NXT Stand and Deliver. It was an unsanctioned match. Kyle won in a 50-minute fest. There you go. There's Dexter just being a hero. Enrique Iglesias playing in the background. I could take away your pain. Sing with me, Francisco. Kyle versus Adam Cole. This one was more, it was a standard wrestling match. It was technically sound. It was good, man. Like I said, picture-in-picture commercials hurt it. I would love to have seen it without any interruptions, but that's the cost of doing business sometimes. But it's ridiculous that sometimes, when I finished that match, it was ridiculous that I can get free TV. That could be a free TV. I didn't have to pay for it. Adam Cole wins. So now they're 1-for-1. So the rubber match is going to probably be at the Takeover match before SummerSlam in August, and which is next month. So it fits perfectly. And my guess is that will be Adam's last match before he's formally called up, which I think it's time. Sure, I can get behind it. Maybe help Kyle get some proper momentum. I don't know what you do. I think you either do an I Quit match or a Last Man Standing match, but bring it over in the WWE world because that's all I got for you on NXT. WWE world, you're building up to Money in the Bank. We got a week from now. I'll talk about next week's show, my predictions and everything like that. But you have Bayley and Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title again, and it's gonna be an I Quit match. So that comes into it. So I Quit match, very simply, you say I quit, you lose. That's it. Done. It comes into it. Whoever doesn't say I quit wins. My problem is why are we doing this? Bianca beat Bayley at Backlash. Bianca beat Bayley in Hell in a Cell. I am not a big proponent of you get all the title opportunities and shots if you just keep losing. Oh, you have the NWO there. That's actually relevant of what I was going to bring to. But I don't get it. They did the same thing with Apollo Crews and Big E all those times before Apollo finally won at WrestleMania with the help of Aziz. So it's just in between for Charles. Biggest thing about WWE, this is where I'm going to have fun with the cage. It is the 25th anniversary of the NWO, the New World Order for life. The OGs of Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash reuniting, and it was probably the biggest faction and the biggest momentum change that had occurred, in my opinion, in all wrestling, that helped formulate and shape everything. Because you wanted to be the NWO, because if you weren't NWO, you were nothing. And when you were going to high school and elementary school and middle school, sometimes you were stuck with NWO and DX. And I would venture that DX was a proponent created as a response to NWO. And, I do enjoy D-Generation X. I don't enjoy D-Generation X of Shawn and Triple H in the later years, a couple of years ago. I enjoyed it when it was uh, the, the sextuplet of, or I guess that's what I'm going to call it, as the six members of H,
That's the
Newman,
right
John
word.
Long's.
Or the I know it. No, sextuplets like twins, but 6 times. Uh,
Yeah,
I have no idea.
well, it just depends on who you, because DX was originally Shawn,
Hmm.
Hunter, China, Rick Rude. Rick Rude left to go to the NWO. He was the only guy who appeared on site. I think Andrew tried that on me, and I pop him right there. He's like, oh God, sometimes I have stupid knowledge of wrestling, and it shames me. But I think the heyday for it for the DX for me was H, China, X Pac, New HL. So that's five, and I think there was a weird story there with the working with Kane. It was strange, so that was interesting to me. But NWO though was just beautiful because it had so much momentum. You had the outsiders, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash coming from WWF as Razor Ramon and Diesel come in, they're evading, go from there. They said there was a third guy, and then there's that bash at the beach where it came in Hulk Hogan was gonna help Macho Man Randy Savage. She's like, yeah, and then Hogan drops the leg drop, and everybody lost their mind because this guy who was squeaky clean for the longest time is now a bad guy. And then we went to it led us to Hollywood Hulk Hogan. It led us to this two. Look, there's two hand gestures I love that I utilize as an adult and as a child. When I was a child, it was the suck it, from DX. You guys know what it is. You know what we're talking about. It was the bam kind of thing. As an adult, I utilize the too sweet. When I'm at work and I see, the people I work with, I'm like, give me a too sweet. The too sweet was just basically the hand gesture. It's still even relevant now, to which they're doing it over in Japan for Bullet Club because they Tamatanga don't kill me, but they want to be um, basically a NWO ripoff. But it was something great about it because the camaraderie, the black and white shirts, the theme song, Hulk Hogan coming out with uh, Jimi Hendrix's theme coming into it. I can't think of it right now because I'm thinking on the fly, but he had his own special thing changing from red and yellow Hulk Hogan to Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Just everything was so cool. And then it got silly, of course, with NWO Wolfpack, which I have a shirt of too. But then they had all these cast-offs and all this other stuff. But when it was the OGs and then Eric Bischoff joining, and they had a few other people, it was really just such one of those cool things to come into. Did they have great matches? Obviously not. It was rare in between. The consequences of the NWO was because it became too big to fail. Everybody joined in, and it made no sense. You even had like Ted DiBiase, Dusty Rhodes join. I would never imagine Dusty Rhodes join, right? When you think about all the things. Um, X Pac was in there as six and all that stuff, but it was just a damn enjoyable faction. Probably my favorite faction. Sometimes I think about the Four Horsemen, I think about the OG Four Horsemen, but then I think about like what is the entertainment value. But it's a 25th anniversary, they're gonna do some stuff on their little social media platforms and everything of that nature. But I would venture that it don't matter much coming into it, because let me just go back to my nostalgia and having fun with it going from there. But I definitely would say for 25 years, that means I've been in memory and in memoriam of them for like 23. So I'll leave it on the NWO because if you ain't NWO, you ain't nobody. Because if you're in NWO, it's 444 life. And it's just too sweet. And that's all I got for you this week.
All right, so there you go. Is that Dennis Rodman?
Yeah, even Rodman was there. Do
That's
you not know?
right. Oh,
Buddy, do
that's
you not
right.
remember Hulk
That's
Hogan and Dennis
right.
Rodman versus DDP and Carl Malone?
Yes,
And
yes,
Carl Malone
yes,
just coming
yes.
in, slamming everybody,
Yes,
and
that's
then
true.
oh, look at that beautifulness. And but the thing is, there's a lot of guys who flip flop in there. But I can name you: Scott Steiner, loved him. Buff Bagwell, Scott Norton, the Acolyte, which was basically Brutus the Barber Beefcake coming in there. I can't tell the guy from the left in the corner. That's kind of bald because I can't really tell. You have Harlem Heat's own, Booker T and Stevie Ray. Though Stevie Ray, Booker T never did it. You have, I think that's Dustin Far Right. I know Kurt Hennig was in it. Macho Man was in there. That was a big surprise, but it led to Macho Madness. That was a good impression. I'll give myself that. You have the Giant, Paul White, Big Show. Um, can't tell the guy in the left blonde over there. Vincent, who was Virgil. You had Rick Rude in there. Eric Bischoff, of course, being Epicenter. Is that Jim Anvil Neidhart? I don't remember him being there, but everybody kind of joined. Conan on the right with the fedora. Um, Crush, was that Crush Brian Adams? Yeah, probably was. All these guys coming in there, and then they made the NWO Wolfpack, which was Lex Luger, Sting, Kevin Nash when he split apart. All this fun, that Sting, because that was part of the story about NWO. It was a takeover NWO versus WCW. Hogan, when he won the big gold belt, baby, he sprayed NWO on it. How dare you? How dare you? It was just iconic, legendary. And you think about Starrcade 1997, of course, there was the botch that happened where the referee, Nick Patrick, missed his count. But Hogan and Sting winning back the WCW title. The problem with the NWO though is they didn't protect it fully because there was times where Hogan tapped out to the torch rack to Luger, and then lost to the Giant as well, which didn't make any sense. The other thing I would venture to is, for a lot of people who don't know, Bret Hart was also the NWO, and he tried to put some rub of the prestige on the WCW Heavyweight Championship. Not heavyweight, but as the United States Championship. Stupid knowledge. I don't know where I get it. I could have known math. I wish I knew
Yeah,
math.
yeah. I
wish I
mean,
remembered everything from law school.
don't worry. Like I can recite you the entire Sonic the Hedgehog timeline if you want me to.
There you go.
All right, and I will go into the lore and the history. Okay, all right. Oh, that's a good note to end on. That's for sure. So that's it for us here for this episode of Sports Goofs.
Oh, real big thing. Alex Sir Black, who was just released a couple weeks ago, big sad boy. He's on AEW now. He just appeared and kicked Arn Anderson in the face.
Well then, hey, got a job, baby. Job security.
Got a job, baby.
Yeah.
But here's the crazy thing. His wife just came back to WWE on SmackDown.
Ooh.
I can't deal with this. This is like weird. What kind of gaslighting is this?
Well, all right, folks. We'll see you guys next week. Ciao.
Take care.
The throw goes to second. Safe. There's a double. They can tie the game with a base machine win. One ball, no strikes. Two balls, no strikes. Time. Edo. Will he throw a curveball next? Time. Edo. Time. Edo. A grounder. The throw goes to first. They simply cannot get the key hit. At the end of the fourth inning, the American League All-Stars lead. Now batting, Albert Bell. The pitcher is hitting a tough spot.